sports talk from start to finish.
You're going wire to wire
with Diesel and Cole Bryson
on the Fan Upstate.
Well, as of right now, this very moment, Diesel, South Carolina, according to ESPN.com, is number one in the SEC. How about that, Gamecock fans? Don't look at the other teams. Don't consider the fact that nobody's played a game yet. Just screenshot it, right? Yeah, just screenshot it. That's all that matters. If you look at ESPN.com South Carolina football schedule, well, why are we looking at that, Diesel? We'll tell you why. To start the show today, we are bringing it out of the gate. The week of predictions continues on Wire to Wire. Welcome in. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. So good to be with you. Diesel back in the Ingalls Market Studios. I'm live at 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg. I have a $25 Ingalls gift card in my hand for the first Tolo that comes by in Spartanburg on the west side over near Academy Sports. And what a great hump day it is. A big show. We've got Bill Bender coming up, Diesel. Every Wednesday, locked in with one of the absolute best in the country, talking college football. We've got Jed Blackwell, good friend of the show, of Prep Red Zone, talking high school football. High school football is back this Friday, so we are full steam ahead. But Diesel, most importantly, our week of predictions continues. We started on Monday with the Panthers in the NFC South. We predicted Clemson, predicted and revised Clemson's schedule yesterday. Today, Wednesday, hump day. Are you ready, Diesel, to predict the South Carolina Gamecocks? The South Carolina Gamecocks football schedule. You fired up?
I'm ready, but before we do that, Cole, I want to answer Jersey Joe's message on the stream. He says, number one in what? Advanced basket weaving?
Joe, that's not nice. That's not nice, Joe. I mean, that's not a nice thing to say on a Wednesday. I mean, that's not a nice, kind thing to say.
He chose to start the day with negativity.
Yeah, he did.
And that's uncalled for, Joe, but it's still funny. I still like it.
JB, the OG Tolo, he says Tolo on the stream, which stands for Turn On, Leave On. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. 25 have already jumped in on the stream. We'd love to see you there as well, where you can watch the show. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. 97.1 Spartanburg on your radio, 97.7 Greenville, 101.5 Anderson. Also on the free iHeart and Odyssey apps. You can find us there. Blake Hammett hopping in on the YouTube stream as well. He says, Tolo, good to see you, Blake. And here we go. The predictions are already rolling in, Diesel, on the stream as well as the Ingalls Markets text line. That's 844-326-3663. I want to know, before we start into this, do you, Diesel, feel more confident in your Clemson prediction from yesterday or what you are predicting today for the Gamecocks? Which one do you feel more confident in?
Oh, man. Well, we're doing the Gamecock predictions in real time, so I don't yet know what my prediction will be for the South Carolina Gamecocks. I do, at the very least, predict they're going to be better than they were last year. They're going to finish with a higher first-digit number than last year. The best thing about prediction time, Cole, is we've never been more right. We've never been more wrong, right? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer at this point. We're going to find out probably by week 3 or 4 or 5 how badly we've performed here. We're going to know who this South Carolina team really is by the time they finish that game in week number 3 against Mississippi State. We'll know if oh, man, here we go. More of the same. More of the pre-snap penalties. More of the inconsistent play. More of the stupid ticky-tack fouls on the defensive side of the football when a pass is in the air, giving up 15-yard penalties. We're going to know. I don't think that's going to be the case for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And I know they've gotten better at position groups that matter. I know they've gotten better on the offensive line. I know Randy Clements is a good offensive line coach. I know that Kendall Briles is an accomplished and very good offensive coordinator. The real question is not will they improve, but how much will they improve this season?
How much will they improve? A season ago, South Carolina 4-8, 1-7, just a putrid 1-7 Diesel in the SEC. They started the season with a win over Virginia Tech, 24-11, but it was not, and I mean not impressive in any way, shape, or form a season to go. They open the year this year with Kent State. Gamecock fans in the upstate, Spartanburg, Greenville, Anderson, wherever, however you may be listening, let us know what your predictions are, as it is the week of predictions right here on Wire to Wire on the Fan Upstate, predicting South Carolina. It continues tomorrow and Friday. We'll even get to our playoff and national championship predictions as well on the show. Want to hear from you, though. We've already seen a few come in at 844-326-3663. Phone lines are open as well, 844-FAN-PHONE. Diesel, how you start is big. How you start in the SEC is big, important as well. You talked about some of the assistant coaches, the new faces on this coaching staff for South Carolina. I don't disagree with the sentiment toward the assistant coaches. I think I just am kind of in a state that a lot of Gamecock fans find themselves in going into the season where they just really don't know, and they're really not going to give a ton of energy into the fan base, into the program, until they see something to give their energy towards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have 2 weeks, though, of
Nothing.
South Carolina fans crowing like crazy over these Kent State and Towson wins. I mean,
don't know,
just,
though.
Just look good in them. I mean, they're going to beat both of these teams by basically name your score. I mean, I would not be surprised if either or both of these games are somewhere in the 45-14 kind of range. And if you blow two teams out, look, it's hard to do that to anybody. I mean, I am maybe throwing a little bit of respect at Kent State and at Towson, but it's hard to do that at anybody, to anybody, score that many touchdowns and be able to hold anybody down, especially in the first week or two of the season when everybody's still figuring themselves out and getting that real live game experience.
Yeah, I don't know that many Gamecock fans will be crowing after the first 2 weeks. I think there are a lot of Gamecock fans who are in a state of realism where they understand, hey, these first two games really don't mean anything. These first two games.
Have you ever met Gamecock fans before?
Yeah, but
do you know what they're like?
The ones I'm friends with, the ones that I talk to on a daily basis, Diesel, I'm telling you, they're not that way. The ones I talk to on a daily basis, if you are a Gamecock fan getting excited over those two first games, you're an idiot. I mean, the Gamecock fans that I'm friends with, I mean, they're not that way. They're in a state of, hey, we're pissed off. We're ready to see something. We're ready for this team to prove something. And I know, listen, every fan base has delusional fans, but the people in my circle that I talk to, they're not going to be excited about to being 2-0. There is nothing, and I'm sorry, there is nothing to get excited about if you're 2-0 with this schedule. Nothing. Zero. I'm sorry, Kent State. I'm sorry, Townsend. You should not be excited if you're a Gamecock fan and you're 2-0 this year. It's warm-up games that mean absolutely nothing. I just don't see it. If you're excited about it, you need to go to fandom class, I guess.
Tom in Somerville? You called Tom in Somerville an idiot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you should not get excited over being 2-0 against those teams. Those are terrible teams. So if you're excited about that, I mean, go, take up a new hobby.
It's not the record that matters, because they will be 2-0, or they damn well better be 2-0 against those two teams. It's not the record, it's how you look against those teams. It's the self-inflicted penalties that killed this team so much last year. And if you can find a way to drastically reduce those self-inflicted penalties, that is what you should be excited about after those first two games if you're a South Carolina fan. Sure, the pressure is different. There's basically no pressure, right? You're playing both of these two teams at home. They're non-conference games. Your third stringers are better than their starters. You are going to demolish both of these two teams.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you can find a way to limit the penalties and not kill yourselves, don't give up any of those third and long, PIs that get them additional opportunities, that get them that move the chains for them. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. If you can get there, that's why you have reason to be excited.
Yeah, I guess for me, it starts in conference play. And of course, you want to play clean football. You want to look good in those first two games. But they mean, and I hate to be this way, they mean absolutely nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. You don't, to your point, you don't want to have 100-yard Diesel in penalties per game, right? You want to be penalty-free for the most part. Penalties are going to happen, but you don't want to, be up near 100 in both games, to your point. So let's start there. They're 2-0. I believe everybody agrees South Carolina starts 2-0 against Kent State, against Towson, right? A lot of predictions coming in on the stream. Ingles Markets text line as well, 844-326-3663. This is where the season starts, according to Jack Veltri, Diesel, who we had on the show yesterday, right? Mississippi State, September 19th, 4:15 at home, 3 straight home games in Willie B. Do the Bulldogs concern you when you go through picking this schedule? What happens in this one?
I got South Carolina winning this game. It's at home. You're feeling yourself. You should be pretty healthy by this point. The pressure is on Mississippi State to come in and win on the road. I mean, look at it this way. Jeff Levy's back is against the wall, and it ought to be. It ought to be. Things have not gone well in his tenure down there at Mississippi State. I think they're coming in with all the pressure in this game, so give me the South Carolina Gamecocks. It's not going to be the blowout that they've been experiencing the first 2 weeks of the season.
Sure.
I think they win this game, though, by 10.
Yeah, I could see it. And you talk about getting guys back. Maybe this is where you start to see guys on the defensive side of the football for the first time this season, right? When it comes to players who were injured. I mean, why do you rush guys back for Kent State and Townsend, right? Just doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe you see your defense close to full strength here, Diesel, right? Maybe you see this Gamecock defense, this Clayton White defense at full strength. And I agree with you. 4:15. I do not believe it will be a blowout, but I do like South Carolina to win the game. I think defensively they will be able to pretty much overpower Mississippi State. You talk about the confidence they should have after being able to roll in the first 2 weeks. I like South Carolina at home to open the season 3-0. So much better start than last year, right, where they were 2-1 after beating Virginia Tech, where they looked bad. SC State, and they lost, just got corned by Vandy 31-7, right? So at that point, they were 2-1 thinking, oh, my God, how good was this team? Not really good, right? So 3-0. And I think most people would agree with that 3-0 prediction thus far. 3-0 is where we have the Gamecocks. If you just tuned in, we are predicting South Carolina's schedule, Diesel and I, in our week of predictions. Diesel, the next week they make the road trip to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, September 26th, time TBD. Alabama preseason number 13 in the country. Can South Carolina continue in their winning ways and make it 4 in a row?
No. I do not have them going on the road and taking down the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think there's too much talent on that side, and the noise, the atmosphere is going to be insane. Sure, we don't know who Alabama's starting quarterback is going to be right now, but by then they will. And by then, Alabama's quarterback, Cole, will have played a handful of games and will have some reps under his belt. By that point, Alabama will have played East Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida State. So they'll already be battle-tested by that point in a way that South Carolina hasn't, especially on the road. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout city. I think South Carolina is going to keep that one fairly close. It's going to be a compelling game all the way to the end. But I got South Carolina losing in Week 4 at Alabama.
Diesel? I'm struggling with this one. I'm struggling at Alabama. I think South Carolina today, from what I know about Lenora Sellers and what I know about the Alabama quarterback situation, there's some unprovenness at the Alabama quarterback position, right? I think South Carolina has the better quarterback situation. Alabama might have more dudes across the board, a higher recruiting class, and a better portal class. They might in some areas be able to out-athlete South Carolina. And I could be dead wrong. And at 5 o'clock, you and I are going to do just like we did yesterday, and we're going to revisit this segment, right? Yesterday at first, I picked Clemson to beat Miami. What'd I do? I came back and I changed it. I felt bad about it. I'm going to follow that same mantra today, Diesel, if that's okay.
Okay.
I've got South Carolina beating Alabama.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've got South Carolina beating Alabama. I think they have the better quarterback. And I think last year you saw Lenora Sellers and that team get a taste of what it was like to almost take down the Tide. And I'm just not completely sold that Alabama has a better quarterback situation than the Gamecocks. With that being said, I've got South Carolina off to a scorching, red-hot start, 4-0 with a win in Tuscaloosa, Diesel. Gamecocks, we'll see if I change my mind at 5 o'clock in our revisit. But right now I've got South Carolina beating Alabama on the road.
When was the last time, and I'm going to look this up because I wouldn't expect you to know this off the top of your head, When was the last time South Carolina started 4-0?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's been obviously been a few years. Are you looking it up?
I am. It's Google's taking its time. 2012.
Okay, 2012.
So it has been quite a while. It's been 14 years. As a matter of fact, that year South Carolina started 6-0. So that was one of those elite Steve Spurrier led teams. Their fourth win was October 6th against Georgia. 35-7 blowout win against Georgia for win number 4. I don't think you're anticipating a 35-7 win against Bama.
And I'll go back even further than that. The last time South Carolina beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, October the 2nd, 2004. South Carolina defeated Alabama 20-3. So it's been a long time, Diesel, since the Gamecocks have won there. I think it happens this year. The Gamecocks get a road win at Alabama. They are off to a scorching start, 4-0, and they then play Kentucky at Williams-Brice Stadium. Who wins that one, Diesel?
I've got South Carolina bouncing back after the Alabama loss with a Kentucky win. I'm just not sold yet because we haven't seen what a Will Stein-led Kentucky team is going to be.
Yeah.
Again, dudes, they'll have them because it's the SEC. But South Carolina, by God, should have more dudes than Kentucky does. I mean, they've got, who is this? Kenny Minchie starting at quarterback. Who is that? Kenny Minchie. Oh, he's been at Notre Dame for 3 years and he's barely played. Okay, that doesn't give me a whole lot of reason to be scared if I'm a South Carolina Gamecock fan. You've got C.J. Baxter, the running back, who comes in from Texas. Oh, that's a big deal. Oh, but he didn't really play that much. So do backups from hodgepodge schools all over the country, good programs nonetheless, do those scare me if I'm South Carolina? I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so at this point, you and I are close. I have South Carolina 5-0, wins over Kent State, Townsend, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Kentucky. You have them 4-1, right?
I do. Yep.
They go on the road to Gainesville. First meeting between Summerall and Beamer. I have them slipping in Gainesville, having an off day. Diesel, an off day. South Carolina just wasn't on their best. I have them losing. First loss of the season to the Florida Gators.
How about that? I'm going. We're going to have the same record at this point. I've got South Carolina winning on the road at Florida, and it's still winning a big time road matchup, right? It's winning in Florida at the Swamp is always a big deal, no matter what the circumstances are. I think they get their big road win this year. The big road win is going to be against Florida in the Swamp because, and you better get them now. If you don't get them now, you might not get them for another decade because I think this John Summerall-led program is going to be really, really good once it's fully rolling.
After they play Florida, they host Tennessee, Diesel. I have them bouncing back after a loss and beating Tennessee at home, beating Josh Heupel in a much-needed bounce-back win for the Gamecocks. Win or loss there for the Gamecocks against the Volunteers.
They take the L coming out of the bye.
Okay.
They take the L coming out of the bye. I think
that'd be
you
rough.
Might get a little high on your own supply at that point. I would have them at 5-1, feeling good going into the bye. Tennessee, they don't get a bye going into this game the way South Carolina does. But I just have a feeling that Tennessee is just a little farther along with a little bit better of an X's and O's kind of coach in Josh Heupel. So I got them just not being fully locked in coming out of the bye.
That'd be tough. After the bye, that'd be tough, man. A lot of criticism for the Gamecocks then. The next week, they're on the road in Norman, Oklahoma, taking on Oklahoma, preseason number 10. Obviously, John Mateer expected to have a good year. I've got them losing to Oklahoma on the road at this point. This would be the second loss for me for the Gamecocks. I think they have an incredible start, and at this point, I have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 on the season after the loss at Oklahoma.
Yeah, that would be back-to-back L's as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be a tall task to go into Norman and take a victory away from these Oklahoma Sooners. I think they are stacked in a way that they were not last year, and they whooped your rear ends last year.
So that'd be three losses for you, right?
That would be 3 losses for me, 5-3 for the Gamecocks.
I have them at 6-2. The next week, A&M. I don't think it matters where this game's played. I just think it's a tough opponent. We don't want to go back to what happened against A&M last year on the road. That game was basically signed, sealed, and delivered, Diesel, and we know what happened. We know what happened in Mike Furry's very first day calling offense for the Gamecocks. A&M came back. I think A&M beats South Carolina again. At home this time, South Carolina drops a tough one, a close one, another heartbreaker, back-to-back losses. The SEC gauntlet catching up to them. I have them losing to A&M late in the season.
See, I disagree. I think with Kendall Briles facing a team from the state that he has worked in for a vast majority of his career, I think Kendall Briles is going to be extra locked in on this game. I think at this point, the conversation around Lenoris as a dark horse Heisman candidate is out there, and I see them beating Texas A&M, and that heats things up. I think he's going to look better than Reed from Texas A&M. So
Marcel,
give me Marcel Reed. Give me South Carolina over A&M.
That'd be big, man. That'd be a huge win at home.
Yeah, it would.
Huge win at home. The very next week, Diesel, they have Arkansas on the schedule. That game's on the road at Arkansas. I've got them winning that game.
Same. Win. It's 2 in a row for the Gamecocks.
Yep. I have them losing to A&M, losing to Oklahoma and A&M, and then bouncing back with a win over Arkansas. I also, the next week, they play Georgia. Georgia's going to be tough. It doesn't matter where that game is. It's going to be a tough game. Georgia, number 3 preseason. This one's in Willie B. Diesel. Can the Bulldogs or can the Gamecocks take down the Bulldogs in the next to last game of the season?
No, they will not.
Okay.
No, they will not. Georgia, a little too complete. Not a blowout. I do see a fun ball game here. I see it somewhere in the range of like 35-24, something like that. A fun, interesting ball game, but just not enough for the Bulldogs.
And then finally, we predicted this game yesterday. Clemson. This game's at Clemson. I have the road team continuing the dominance. South Carolina winning at Clemson in another thriller on the road, in which I would have the Gamecocks at 8-4 on the season. South Carolina, boy, they improved from last year, Diesel, where they were, 4-8 to 8-4. What a huge improvement that would be. 4 losses to Florida, Oklahoma, A&M, and Georgia. My prediction as of right now, 8-4, the South Carolina Gamecocks will be in 2026.
I picked Clemson to win this game yesterday. I am sticking with that prediction. South Carolina loses on the road at Clemson. So this whole curse of home teams never getting it done in this rivalry, I think that is done after this season. It's going to be a bittersweet ending to the season, finishing 7-5, finishing with 2 losses in a row against Georgia and at Clemson. But there will be some bright moments for this team. It's just going to kind of leave South Carolina fans in a little bit of a, what did we just see? 7-5 is better than where you were. It's a lot better than where you were, but you're not going to be super stoked as you know, you're seeing a lot of teams getting their big-time bowl selections. You're not going to go to a great bowl game. You're going to go to an okay bowl game, but, just a above-average season.
Yep, that's what 7-4 is, right? Yeah, excited that it's not 4-8. You get some moments along the way. However, I've got them at 8-4, which I guess Diesel provides them with a few more moments. But look, 8-4, you're probably here and there away from being a playoff bubble team, right? A few plays. If you lose that game at Florida, like I say you do, and you somehow beat Alabama, you think to yourself, man, how do we beat Alabama? But then we go on the road and lose to Florida. This is life in the SEC. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't play out like you think it should. But that's the SEC. And if the SEC has taught us anything, it's taught us that you just don't know. You just don't know. And if you're not a dominant top-tier SEC team, you've got to figure out a way week in and week out to bring it. South Carolina, I think they will. Well, they have the horses. I think a few times they get out-raced in their horse race, Diesel. Florida being one of those, Clemson being one of those, the other two being A&M and Oklahoma, the 4 losses on the season.
You know, if you look back at last year's college football playoff and the 12 teams that got in, you look and see what record is required of you dependent on what conference you're in. And if you're in the SEC or the Big Ten, the minimum win total to be in the playoff was 8 last year.
Yeah.
Certainly matters who you beat, who you lose to, and when you lose to them. And also you need some help from other schools around you. If you're in the ACC and you want to get in as an at-large, you better win 9. You really should be winning 10. That's your only shot to get in as an at-large if you don't win the ACC championship game. But I don't think that they are a playoff bubble team. There will be moments when you start to get a little bit of that belief, and that's going to recharge this fan base and kind of keep them going throughout the season. But like I said, I just don't see that they have enough, and they kind of sputter towards the end of the season.
Tolos, where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Let us know at 844-326-3663. Before you send us off the break, Diesel, I want to remind our Tolos out there, we're live at 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg on the west side of Spartanburg over near Academy Sports. And I have a $25 Ingles gift card for a Tolo on this hump day, on this Wednesday, on the west side of Spartanburg. If you're a Spartanburg Tolo, want to see you here at Ingles.
How about it, Cole? When we come back, some audio from Baker Mayfield. And my question is, since the Buccaneers chose to snub him and not give him the contract that he wanted going into this season, what do we think Baker and the Bucs will have to achieve for him to get that bag? We'll talk Bucs and Baker next, right here on the Fan Upstate.
JB's Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Is JB the OG Tolo being a little too hard on the South Carolina Gamecocks up front? Cole, he says that we are both delusional on our South Carolina Gamecocks predictions.
Ooh.
He says that they have a crappy offensive line and crappy running game. The offensive line remains to be seen, considering you got a new offensive line coach, though we do think they're going to get a lot better there. The running back room does concern me.
Yeah, and like he said in that same comment that he doesn't have South Carolina even with a winning record. And I know last year they were 4-8, and 4-8's a long way from a winning record. JB, I guess my response to you would be, do you believe they're still a 4-8 team with what they've done in the offseason, player-wise, personnel-wise, but also when it comes to Kendall Pryles and Stan Drayton at running back and the offensive line coach, what's his name, Diesel? I always forget the offensive line coach's name.
Clements.
Randy Clements.
Clem for short.
Yeah, I think they're better than 4-8 on paper. But to your point, as we all know, 4-8 or on paper doesn't, really mean anything. We saw that with Clemson last year. I would find it hard to believe. Find it really hard to believe that they're 4-8 or 5-7 again this season. I think they're going to be improved.
I think so as well. And Cole, some people are going to be joining us on the show a little bit later that are certainly going to improve what we do. Melissa Level going to join us coming up a little bit later on in the show, as will Jed Blackwell of Prep Red Zone. He's going to talk high school football with us at 4:22, and then Bill Bender at 5:22. Bill Bender, he is just absolutely the best. He is going to join us for the Upset Picks Challenge again this year. We'll see if we can, throw some strategies his way to help improve his score. But that remains to be seen. We're going to have him put that big brain to use to get a dub, to get some more dubs this season in the Upset Picks Challenge.
I love Bill Bender. Bill Bender's the best. And, last year his Upset Picks reasoning was so funny. And we love talking to Bill. Bill's a fantastic national guest. And you're right, Melissa Level joining us here in about 30 minutes on the show at 4 o'clock. Can't wait for that of Ingles Market. It's a big day, and excited to talk high school football with Jed Blackwell as well at 4:22 of Prep Red Zone. High school football is here. High school football is here and starts this Friday night. What an exciting time. Cannot wait for it.
Well, before we get into what we really want to talk about in this segment, and with our next caller, Cole, who knows if we'll even get around to it, because
Rick.
Our next caller, yes, he is the pebble on the railroad tracks that can send the Freightliner off the tracks and into the woods. Rick from Greer, welcome to the show. You want to talk Braves. The floor is yours.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Tom. South Carolina won't win 5 games, okay?
Oof.
So quit being delusional, Tom. Your little bet is over.
Well, you're calling Cole and I delusional as well, because we just went through our picks in the last segment. I've got him at 7-5. Cole's really delusional. He's got him at 8-4.
Never will they be 8-4. Never.
Wow.
And I don't know what world.
Rick, you don't
You're just
think,
a hater, Rick.
They can improve a little bit?
They can improve to 5-5 or 5-6, okay?
We know you deliver pizzas and donuts, Rick. We didn't know you delivered haterade too.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Clemson fan,
Second
Rick.
of all,
yeah.
The Braves have lost 2 straight to Minnesota and are tied in today's game. They're going to get it swept.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the Braves?
They're playing bad right now. I put on the rundown, the first Daily Wire today, I just put the Braves suck. Right now they just are sucking. They're not playing good baseball in any facet right now. You're right, bottom of the 6th right now. They're tied 4-4, trying to avoid the sweep. It's just, we talk about it in football a lot, offensively and defensively. We talk about complementary football. I think the same's true in baseball. I just don't think they're complementing each other well right now, from the bats to the pitching, and it's just a lot of inconsistencies right now with this team.
Get rid of Austin Riley.
He's terrible.
My
what about
God.
that play last night, though? Did you see that play he
He's
made
made
last
some good
night?
plays.
He can make a play in the field, but he can't hit.
No,
you put it on
you're
a
right.
tee and he couldn't hit it.
You're right. I don't disagree
true.
with you on that, Rick.
Maybe we don't need to have him DHing for the pitcher. We need to have him DHing for Austin Riley. Or Austin Riley.
We
Somebody
need a
DHing
DH
for
for
him.
the DH
Right.
if they put Austin Riley in there.
He's
what I meant to
0 for
say.
2 today at 221 on the season. So he went from 209 to 221, and he's probably going to drop a little bit after today.
Let's give him to Philadelphia.
Oh, then
Gosh.
you know what will happen then? He'll get hot, and they'll go on and win the World Series.
Well, the Philadelphia's hot right now, and they play a 4-game series in 2 weeks. 4 games at Philly. So we'll know what the Braves are
Yeah.
being. Okay?
You're right.
we will.
Thank you.
Rick, the baseball
Good call,
aficionado, Diesel.
Thanks, Rick. Good phone call.
You know, that
I
was
guess.
actually a better one today.
It's true.
You
That's
know?
true. He
Better.
didn't take us too far down like a weird rabbit hole. Like we weren't talking Braves in this segment. We were trying to talk Baker Mayfield
And that got
the Bucks
blown up.
and expectations and what he might need to do to get paid this year as a 31-year-old quarterback, by the way. Let's go ahead and transition it in that way. We'll drop in like that. He's 31 years old, Cole. I understand why the Bucks were hesitant to give him a big contract this year. He's 31 years old. Yeah, he's a former Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah, he's been pretty good in his time with you. He's gotten a little bit better. Last year was a little bit better than the year before that. But I understand why they're taking their time, and they need to see as much as possible from Baker Mayfield to know if he's really worth throwing a $45 or $50 million contract at.
Yeah, and I get it. Like the quarterback market, it's a wild market. The numbers are extremely high. We know what the quarterback market is. We all know that. I find this conversation difficult because I really like Baker Mayfield, but I really don't like the quarterback market. You know, it's as simple as that. And from an ownership standpoint, Diesel, I kind of get it. I kind of get it, but at the same time, in the NFL, quarterbacks don't what? Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. So I do see both sides.
It just begs the question,
Yeah.
is Baker Mayfield a transitional quarterback between Tom Brady and whoever your quarterback of the future is? Or is Baker Mayfield the rare, solid quarterback that can go out there and win you the division twice? His first 2 years, he won the division and continue that. Do you believe that he is the quarterback of the future right there, ready to go after Tom Brady?
And I don't think when you say quarterback of the future, I don't think he's quarterback of the future long term. I mean, I just don't.
Sure.
I don't see him in that fashion. I think he is a very good quarterback. Is he in the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL? No. Is he a quarterback that you can win a bunch of football games with? He is. And I think that's why it's tough. You see guys get paid that money, but you also see franchises decide just to gallop over some of these guys. And I don't know what the right answer is here. I think that's why it's tough. I think ultimately Baker will land on his feet, but from a business franchise standpoint, I kind of get it too.
So some numbers for you that might help you crunch through this a little bit. Not going to throw a ton out there, but in his 3 years as the starter in Tampa, 9-8, won the division, 10-7, won in the division, lost in the wild card, 8-9 last year, but had a record that was tied with the division leaders. He very well could be a 3-time division winner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just didn't fall that way last year. Offensively, the Bucs were 23rd, 3rd, and 21st in total yardage in the last season. So yes, 2020, that would have been 2024, the Bucs spiked and the offense was great. But in the other 2 years he's been the starter, they've been bottom third of the league. They won the division one of those years, but still bottom third of the league with Baker Mayfield at the helm. Now, when you look at the way the quarterback market has gone over the past 5 or 6 years, and you look at what quarterbacks have done before they got that big old bag, and that's what Baker Mayfield wants, right?
Sure.
You're not comparing him to Brock Purdy, who won 13 games and 12 games in 2 years in San Francisco. You're not comparing him to Josh Allen. You're not comparing him to Dak Prescott. And you're not comparing him to Jordan Love in the 1 year that Jordan Love was the starter before he got paid. Because, again, not a big sample size for Jordan Love. Where you can kind of slot him, and this was fascinating, they're all in the same state. You can slot him somewhere right in between where Trevor Lawrence was before he got paid and where Tua was in Miami before he got paid. Trevor had years of 3-14, 9-8, 9-8. Tua had years of 9-8, 9-8, 11-6. So he's kind of right there in between those two guys, where at times you got the Trevor Lawrence-esque top 5 in the NFL kind of offense, and you've also got years where things have just kind of fallen apart and they're not a strong offensive team, and that's his job to lead the offense.
And I think situation matters a whole lot too. And the Bucs, when Tom Brady won that Super Bowl, they were an old team. They were an old team then. So I think that's why it's tough. And you look at the guys that were on that roster, they weren't a young, promising team then, but they had veteran guys that won a Super Bowl, and you kind of felt like that team was maybe in a little bit of a rebuild in the next few years. Luckily, they had a really good quarterback, though, in Baker Mayfield. So I just think it's an extremely tough situation, and that's why it's going to be interesting. Diesel on the other – oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to play you one very quick piece of audio, and it will put a bow on this whole thing. Baker Mayfield is saying, look out, we're coming.
I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year, and so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that.
We're going to shock some people this year. That means go back to winning the division, I guess, winning some big-time games.
Well, if you say something like that, you better win the division, and especially in the NFC South. You better win the division if you're going to say something like that. And maybe they do. We'll see. It should be a lot of fun. Speaking of the NFL, a push in the 3 o'clock hour for you Tolos that want to join the Fantasy League. Shane Barrett, the commissioner. Let's see if we can page him to get an update on the Fantasy League for Wire to Wire. That's next.
Breaking news. We break the mold.
yourself, Tolos, are you in the Wire to Wire Fantasy League yet? If not, what are you waiting on? Let me click on the link from Shane Barrett here. Ooh, the league number 1 is getting close to being full, Diesel. Thus far, I see Shane Barrett, I see Chris, Corey, Dan B, Bill, I see Mr. Brown, Dylan, Josh, Diesel. Oh, look at Diesel. Your real name's in there, too. You better hide that. I see your real name, but I also see D's great team. I like that. Bill's best team. Young Gravy Nuts is in there. How about that? Goo Goo Gaga is a team in there. That's an incredible team name, right? There are 3 spots available in league number 1, rather, in the Wire to Wire Fantasy Football League for league number 1. Shane Barrett is the league manager, the league commissioner this year for Wire to Wire. So if you want in, you better get in ASAP. You can text the show 844-326-3663, and we will send you the link. If we do, or if you do and we send it back to you and it's full, it's okay. Shane will create another league so that we can get in, because I'm sure, Diesel, that's going to happen. And guess what? There are now only 2 spots left, because I am in the league. Since you are all in, I am all in. Why not? You and I in the same league, and I have just entered. What is your strategy for your first ever attempt at fantasy football?
I'm going to take the pray and spray method.
Like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Hopes and dreams, basically.
Shane also still has to schedule a snake draft. So draft not scheduled yet. Snake draft, though, coming soon. And League 1, only 2 spots left in this sucker, Tolos. If you want to get in, 844-326-3663. Just text the word fantasy to get in. We'll send you the link back. Texter says, Cole, any fantasy football advice this season? Anyone you like specifically, or late round sleepers? Well, yeah, my fantasy football advice is don't listen to me. I will not hide from this. I am not a fantasy football expert. I'm not a fantasy football expert at all. So if you want fantasy football advice, don't come to Cole Bryson for it. Diesel, in his first season, he may be able to get in and do pretty well. And I can already tell you, Diesel, because of the text line, we are going to have to create league number 2 right now. The text line is blowing. Look at all the texts coming in. There's a couple of fantastic texts. I think that was supposed to be fantasy, though, right? Fantastic fantasy? Are you
come along and ride on our fantastic voyage?
Yeah, fantastic voyages. We try to do better than we did last year. I say we. I was horrible last year. So, Tolos, just hold your horses. I'll get that link to you ASAP, and I'll text Shane that we're going to need a second league, because the first league is going to fill up very, very soon. And appreciate Shane Barrett for his contributions in putting this league together, the commissioner this year. So if you have complaints or anything like that, send it to Shane Barrett, not me. I'm not the commissioner anymore. I retired, did a horrible job last year.
I think I'm going to change my team name setting, Cole, to DZ Victory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like it. I was trying to think of a pun that will also show how terrible I'm going to be at this.
I like
DZ
that.
Victory.
No, I think that's a good one. That's a good team name. I hadn't thought of one yet.
Lock it in.
I have not thought of one yet, but that's a really good one. I like it. There you go.
It is locked in. Hey, Cole, speaking of locked in, our guest in our very next segment, she is locked in with us every other week when we're on location at Ingles Markets. We love bringing Melissa Level, the marketing director for Ingles, on the show. And those of you Tolos who are clamoring to hear from Melissa, we're going to have her on with us next. Right there from Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg at Ingles Markets.
from start to finish.
You're going wire to wire
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
on the Fan Upstate.
Well, how about that, Cole? You start talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, and look who shows up. Slides right in. Melissa Level from Ingalls Markets on location, 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg. Up there, face-to-face with Cole. I'm jealous of you, Cole. I wish I could be there. Welcome to the show, Melissa. It's always great having you on.
And were they going to wheel Baker Mayfield in? Is that what they're going to do? Is he like going to be in a wheelchair or a cane?
He's confident. He's
Well,
he's
of
on
course
the
he's
last year of his
confident.
deal,
I
but he's
know.
confident. He's as old as he is, 31 years old. He said we're gonna shock some people this
Yeah,
year.
you're going to shock some people by, hopefully making it through the season alive. But I just, I love my Bucks, okay? But they have no offensive protection.
So
okay?
should
And
they pay him?
Should they pay him?
Should they give him the
They
big
should get some
contract?
offensive protection. That would be really good payment for him.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
with you.
that was going to be my first question. Is Florida State, I think, is projected, depending on where you look, over under 5.5 wins this year. Tampa Bay is projected over under somewhere around 9 wins this
Yeah.
year.
Which
one do you feel most confident in? Because I know you're big fans of both.
Definitely Tampa. I mean, I think that they did pretty well with some of the spots they had, filling in some of those receiver spots and running back spots in the draft. So I feel pretty good about that. And they've got some people returning that I really think are terrific. Godwin and some other like that I think are really going to be great. And you can't beat the atmosphere down there. I think it's and they want Baker Mayfield to do well. They want our team to do well. So I think it could be the schedule for the NFC South though is pretty. It might be pretty easy to be that kind of numbers, right? It's almost impossible for Florida State to win games in the schedule that we have. We have one of the toughest schedules in the ACC.
Glad you brought that up. We're going to get to Florida State in a few minutes. Before we do, though, from an Ingalls standpoint, oh my goodness, football season's here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 8 more days till Furman.
8 more days. Furman next Thursday. We're going to talk about the CW, the games there. High school football starts Friday.
This coming Friday,
It's
yay.
exciting. College in just a few days, as you mentioned. This time of year, I know Ingalls is busy year-round, but I know this time of year you guys were heavily involved in a lot of things.
Yeah, we've got, of course, all of our sponsorships with Furman and Western and, of course, the Southern Conference. And then, of course, our high school now and our relationship with Burns with you and the Touchdown Club, which is terrific. And, of course, all of our schools in North Carolina as well. We just opened up a new field in Western North Carolina with our name on the field. It's absolutely beautiful.
Whoa. No.
Yeah, they've had $40 million worth of improvements from the last game of last season.
Wow.
To this year with a new press box, which is a welcome since everybody felt like they were going to die.
Sure.
And because you had to walk up 5 flights of stairs to get to the press box.
Can't wait to see a picture of that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's beautiful, and the field it's kind of really extra spongy
turf.
Film. Yeah, the extra spongy turf. It's
Yeah.
really terrific. So it's going to be interesting. They open up against Eastern Kentucky. With a blackout, total blackout at a drone show on 29th on Saturday.
How about that?
Furman opens up on the 27th at home against ETSU and the Commodore Fox, which happens to be somebody you might recognize from an Ingalls name, playing in a band for the fan zone. So they'll be there for the opening thing for that. So
that's awesome.
We're excited. We got all sorts of high school things happening, radio, lots of terrific stuff. But you know what? I don't even feel it this time of year because I'm so excited for it.
So excited.
I just love
It's
it.
here.
Melissa,
Right.
You guys, like Cole was saying, you're everywhere. You're all over the place. You're sponsoring high school football. You're sponsoring Spartanburgers baseball. I mean, the Ingalls logo is going to be spotted in pretty much every stadium across the Southeast that matters.
That's right.
Can you, as impressive as what you just listed off is, can you give us a sense of how much money Ingalls has pumped into all of these various programs? Is that a number that you have off the top of your head?
Well, I could probably figure it out. It's a lot, but I will tell you, it's not what you would think like going to a major Power 4 conference where it would be like $1 million to be the official grosser. Sure. We don't do those, okay? So we do SoCon. Okay, sure. We do Furman, Wofford, Western high schools. We do spend the money on that, all right? But it's we can spread ourselves out, get a little bit more bang for our buck, and also really be in touch with our customers because that is truly local.
It is.
Right,
It really
truly
is.
local.
What is your, and I back when I was in college, I worked the Thursday night high school football games on TV that you guys are a part of.
That's right.
And we got to go to a lot of different high schools in North Carolina and the western
That's
part of
right.
North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite, like Western Carolina is a beautiful stadium. What's your favorite stadium in North Carolina? Because there's some pretty scenery stadiums, up
Well,
there.
you mean for college or for high school?
Either.
Well, I mean, I really think that the Pisgah and Tuscola and that rivalry is so
Pisgah and
incredible.
Tuscola, I was gonna say that's a big rivalry,
Yeah, that's
right?
a big rivalry, and they're right in the heart of that mountains, right before Waynesville. Just a really great stadium atmosphere. Now today, when I was over at Western, we were opening up the new field, that new press box. That the views are spectacular. They have a new party area,
Mountains
VIP area that just looks out over the mountains.
Yeah.
Their coach has a balcony off of his office.
No
Okay,
way.
All right.
Whoa.
I'm thinking that's where you go to close a deal, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No
Might
doubt.
help some recruiting.
No
right?
doubt.
We have
Western's
our name on the
pretty. It's hard
jerseys
to
for
beat.
that. Yeah,
that's-
it really is
that's
hard. I've been to a lot of places in Western North Carolina, but I think that once you get out into that Haywood County area, high
Sure.
school and college, they're just beautiful. The mountains are bigger. They go through the gorge.
Isn't that Tuskegee and
Tuscola.
Tuscola and who was the other
Pisgah.
one? Pisgah, Tuscola, Pisgah. Not big schools, but that rivalry. For those that don't know, that's an intense rivalry.
It is the rivalry of the state almost for high school. I would think definitely they're both really good teams. And, of course, Pisgah had everything destroyed, and not just of the floodings in the 2020 and then again in 2024 with Helene. So they had to play all their games at Tuscola.
Oh, man.
And if you imagine that rivalry, how difficult that was, because they're close enough to do that. They're all back and going now, and I'll tell you that's that rivalry, the West Henderson, East Henderson County, and I'm sure Burns. And what's that big rivalry? Is that Burns? And
yeah, there's no doubt. There's a lot of
Dorman,
rivalry.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many different rivalries, especially in South Carolina. I mean, There's a million different
And our
rivalries,
television this year with our Friday Night Rivals has a lot of the South Carolina
Yes,
games
it does.
on My 40.
It sure
the
does.
MeTV, yep.
It sure does. Matter of fact, they are in my TV this Friday, Spartanburg Gaffney, over at Gaffney.
That's
between
right.
Two really good teams.
That would be a really good way to kick it off too,
Yeah.
I think. And then of course we have our channel 62, which was the CW, which now has moved over to channel 7. But the CW has almost all sports, and we're doing a game of the week for the SoCon football game of the week. Sometimes 2 games, depending on the schedule, and we back up or follow ACC. Football as
that?
well, because they have ACC football. So we'll be sponsoring that, and plus we're sponsoring their sports package, which has we can have some Braves games and some Hurricane games
Yeah.
and some all sorts of basketball, maybe some Hawks games there as well. So great place to go for sports,
I love it.
and that kind of made that their home for that.
Well, Melissa, you just you already answered another question for me. The why. Why is Ingalls as involved as they are with as many ways and many sponsorship opportunities as they are? And it's because you want to be a leader in the community for a lot of these mountain communities in Western North Carolina, where Ingalls is the number one source for people to go get their everyday groceries, and because you guys were such a huge part in the recovery after
Right.
Helene. Being there and being restocked quickly, faster than everybody else was. I mean, it's just such a huge thing to be a part of that community and to lead that community. And I know they appreciate it, as well as our listeners that shop at Ingalls down here
Right.
as well.
It took a minute, I mean,
Yeah.
we took a hit. It was a lot of it, but and I think a lot of people don't realize that we always bring a charity element to all of our sponsored football, basketball, high school or college, including we also do it for the Spartanburgers and the tourists as well. For example, the tourists, Asheville Tourist Baseball and Spartanburgers, every strikeout is $1,000.
Wow.
Is $1. So we've raised well into the thousands each year so far with our sponsorships with them that goes to the Spartanburg Mobile Meals. Then we have $100 for every field goal at our high schools, $100 for every field goal at college that we sponsor for our SoCon
awesome.
teams, $3 for every three-point shot, $1 for strikeout for baseball and for softball in our collegiate teams. And USC Upstaters included in that as well.
And I think the Diesel's point there, like, I shop at Ingalls. I sent you a picture the other day. We had a big Burns coaches cookout, 50, 60 people.
Yeah, I saw
and
that. It was great.
My buggy from Ingalls was like overflowing
Right.
for the cookout. but I try to tell people all the time, and you and I talked about it in an event not long ago, but, there are a million choices out there, just like there are choices with radio stations in any business. But when you truly learn, that's why we have you on. And I think when when you truly learn what Ingles does, I think your shopping decision is made. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I think there's one of the purposes behind that, because we know we have a lot of people that, particularly high school people, that work at our stores,
Sure.
or that we see these people every single day, moms and dads, everything, and if we're part of your world, we want people to feel like they're coming home.
Sure.
Right? And
No.
so we need to be part of home in order for you to feel like that.
Yeah, I love that.
So, Melissa, have you got your first couple of weeks of the season planned out? Because you're always on the go, right? You're moving
Yes,
around constantly.
I
and
do.
Like I said, you guys sponsor so much.
I do
High
have
school,
it.
college. What's the first 2 or 3 weeks of the football season look like for you? Because I'd imagine you're not going to spend too many days at home watching.
Right. No. I've got it really good. So the next Thursday, well, a week from tomorrow, we have Furman opener, which is our Furman against ETSU, and we also sponsor Furman, and they are also game of the week. And Commodore Fox also plays, which is Mr. Ingles' band, live on that. And then that Saturday, we go over to Western with their home opener against Eastern Kentucky, and a full drone show.
That's awesome.
That'll be after the game. So
That
that's a night
sounds so
game.
cool.
It's going to be really cool. And then we're off to the races. Who knows after that?
Who knows? It's going to be crazy.
I'm going to try to make it down to FSU, do a couple games down there.
I think we still got to fire up that party bus
I
we're
wanna-
talking
listen,
about.
I'm all for
We
it.
got to fire it up. Speaking of FSU, let's go through here. In Diesel, I'm going to ask you to play along as well. This is our week of predictions.
Right.
So Monday we started with the Panthers. Yesterday we did Clemson. Today we did South Carolina. And we're going to continue that with you. Win-loss predictions for
Right.
Florida State 2026. They open up with New Mexico State. Win?
That's a win.
Diesel?
Yeah, that's a win.
Okay, so I think we're all in the same census there, that starting 1-0. If
Do
you're
they
Florida
cover,
State.
though?
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
think so.
30-point spread. Do they cover
I
the
don't
spread?
care.
Yeah,
they just
just
need
win,
to have
right?
a W.
Just like Al Davis said, just win, baby, win is all
Just win,
Melissa
baby,
Level
win. That's
is
right.
concerned about. The next week they have a tough one, though. 19th ranked SMU. It's in Tallahassee. SMU brings back Kevin Jennings at quarterback, a really good quarterback in the ACC. Melissa.
He's insane.
He's good.
Okay.
You saw what he did to Clemson last year.
And that's a loss.
You think so?
And I hate that. But you know what? If we surprise people, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they
Okay.
come in not thinking that we're worthy. That could also happen. We're rebuilding. Sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
I have faith that we're going to rebuild again. I just don't know if it's going to be in time to play.
Sure. You've got
that
some
game.
tough ones out of the gate. Like
Yeah.
SMU out of the gate, Diesel. I have them losing
We have,
that.
we have the toughest schedule in all of the ACC.
Yeah, I think so. No,
Yeah.
you're right on that. Who do you
To
have
break
there?
to break your heart early, Melissa, I got you starting 1 and 2
Yeah.
with losses to SMU and Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama away is a real tough one for us. I mean, we did beat them, last year, but we beat them at home. It was a convincing win. We'll just have to see. Sometimes you have a number on a team, and that can happen. You feel confident since you beat them before. A lot of what's happening at Florida State is in the heads of our players.
I think so. It's
You
just
know,
a
and
weird
so-
thing
right,
right now.
yeah,
And then
we have the talent. I
they
just
don't
don't understand
Melissa, they don't fire Mike Norvell if they start 1 and 2, do they? In the middle of the season?
I think they could. Yeah, I think they possibly could. It's extremely expensive, right? Okay.
Oh, no, extremely.
I mean, he has a $45 million
Sure.
contract. I mean, but you have to look at the long term. I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No,
Is
I'm
it the
with
smartest move in the world, though, to fire a coach that early? I mean, if you fire him late in the season with 4 or 5 games to go, that's when the
You gotta
conversation really
stretch-
gets going.
You got that ACC stretch, all right, that I'm going to say is going to be the toughest one. It's right in the middle of the season. It's Louisville, Clemson,
Yep.
and Miami.
So
right?
you have them beating Central Arkansas, I would
Right.
imagine.
Mhm,
So
right.
they're 2 and 2. Virginia, you have them winning or losing that one.
I have them winning because they're in
So
at
3
home,
and
and
2.
we really didn't. We weren't prepared for them last year. We went to their house.
Yeah,
and they
I
beat
can
us.
see that.
We weren't supposed to. We weren't supposed to lose that game.
Diesel, where do you have them after the Virginia game?
Yeah, I don't feel great about it because Virginia was really good last year. They
11
bring in an
wins.
SEC quarterback to transfer in. I'm going to give it to you, even though I don't feel great about it either way. I mean, I think this is kind of a
It's a
toss-up game.
revenge. It's a revenge match for us too.
It is,
That's
but-
what just started their downhill slide last year, and we really.
And we'll see what Tony Elliott's really building at
So,
Virginia.
Right.
to your point, if they lose to SMU and Alabama and they're 1 and 2, they beat Central Arkansas 2 and 2. If they were to lose to Virginia and they're 2 and 3, oh boy, because the next 3 are Louisville, Miami,
that's
Clemson.
that's a stretch. That's a stretch right there. That's going to make or break Norvell.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think they wait till the end of the season if they don't win at least 2 of those.
I just don't know. You're right. It's a tough schedule. I mean,
Yeah. Now you're talking about 2-6 winless against Power 4 competition.
Melissa, that'd be bad. I think they would. I think they'd
Oh, yeah.
fire. I think they did.
Yeah, we've got to win. We've got to beat at least Clemson. Louisville's a tough one.
Louisville's
but
tough.
Clemson and Miami's impossible. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to come in
So-
there looking at Louisville as a must win.
So-
Clemson is a must win, and but listen. I have been on the sidelines, and I've been completely baffled by how we win some games.
Yeah,
It's happened
yeah.
before. And, magic in season happens. Maybe this is the year that the psyche has lifted.
Maybe
Because
so.
I do believe we have the talent. Okay,
Yeah.
I do believe we have it. I just do not believe. We got a great new punter. He might be busy, but he's going to be really good. No one's returning that. Okay, have you seen him? He's from Australia. He can
Jeez.
kick it the length of the field. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna
but how many
happen.
points has a punter ever scored?
Yeah.
Well, he can keep people from running it back.
All right,
guess.
Yeah, so that's
the
what-
last four, Melissa Diesel, at Boston College, at Pittsburgh, NC State, and Florida. I look at this schedule and I think to myself, I just don't see any way Mike Norvell's the coach as of November 27th.
No,
There's no way.
He's not coaching in Florida.
Zero way, right?
I think that for those 3 games in the middle of the season, I think
Yeah.
it's after Miami. If it's a brutal loss to Miami, and we've also lost to Clemson and to Louisville,
Yeah.
I think he's a goner. Miami was the kicker that turned it over with Taggart. I mean, I was at that game. That was
Yeah.
the last straw. I mean, you have to be able to beat the teams in your state, for
Sure.
crying out loud.
No, I'm
you
with you.
know, and in your conference. And it is a tough schedule, okay, but you're never going to fix a psyche if it's not going to get. I mean, if he can't fix
Sure,
it on his
I'm
own.
with you.
And I do believe it is in his head. They have not come back, and they can't come back from a loss. We were 0-4, right? I mean, we had won every one 4-0. I guess it was 4-0. We went up to Virginia. We weren't supposed to lose that game.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost it. Then we lost everything else.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wheels fell off.
Yeah, the wheels fell off in a loss because it hits the psyche. It's a psyche. Oh, here it goes again.
Yeah.
And I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think they need to come out of the gate. If they don't, we're doomed.
Yeah,
Wow.
I feel about this team kind of like, the automotive crisis in this country of everybody rolling negative equity into their next car loan. And that's kind of what Florida State
Right.
football has been for the past 2 or 3 coaching cycles. And it's a tough place to be. A&M was kind of in a similar place, and they finally got out of it with Mike Elko, we think. But
Yeah, I think
it's not a
that's
great
going to
place
be a
to be.
phenomenal year for them. I think for A&M, but I and I think you also have some other teams in the ACC that are starting to grab the ground that Florida State used to have,
Yeah.
right? And the recruits that Florida State used to have.
Yeah.
And so until you can get, it's like this circle. This where you can't win, you can't recruit. You can't recruit,
Sure.
you can't win. What happens, right? You get a lot of money. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe you can buy some, but they're going to last a season.
It's
and that's
true.
going to be it.
Melissa, you're the best. As always, we appreciate you, and
Thank
we
you.
love talking to you.
We love talking to you too. Bye, Diesel.
Thanks,
Melissa,
Melissa.
you heard her right here on the Fan Upstate. Melissa Lavelle of Ingles Market. She's the best. We're talking high school football on the other side. Jed Blackwell, good friend of the show. Prep Red Zone joins us to talk about the Week 1 matchups this Friday. We're bringing it real local next.
844-566-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, week one of high school football is here in South Carolina, and it's time to get into it. We'll talk a lot of high school football this week. We'll have our prediction segment on Friday, and obviously a lot of high school football coverage on this station throughout the week as well. Appreciate those who tuned in last night for the first Rebel Yell, and for those that came out. And high school football, a big part of what we do. Excited to talk to Jed Blackwell, Prep Red Zone. You heard him on here a few weeks ago talking high school football. Jed, you know, here in South Carolina, we start football in the summer. And with summertime, you get showers, thunderstorms. And the big story today, a lot of high schools in the area already across the state as well having to move games. What's the latest? And you're going to have games on Thursday and Friday this week. Is that right?
Yeah, so happy football eve, I guess, a day early. Yeah, Chapman and Eastside have already moved, so that we've confirmed one Thursday game. There are more across the state, just over the state line. Rutherford County, Polk County is at Chase. That's tomorrow night as well. So we've got a couple right here locally that have already moved. Good news, bad news. Good news for us as fans is I think it's a little bit too late to move anything else. I've rarely, other than like an impending tropical storm, I've rarely known a school to move a game to the same day. So I don't think we're going to wake up tomorrow and a bunch of these games are going to be moved. But today's not over yet. So I guess we'll see.
Well, Jed, a team that we cover right here on the Fan Upstate, Burns Rebels, they're taking on Independence out of Charlotte, a team that was pretty good last year, 10-3 last season. They maybe started out a little bit more inconsistent, but they became a dominant team late in the season. Doing a little early scouting on Burns' first opponent, what do you know about Independence at this point?
I know they can run it. They can run the football. They got a guy, and his name escapes me right now, and I don't have my notes in front of me. I apologize, but he averaged 180 on the ground last year himself. That's pretty fair. You know, anybody that can do elementary math, you just said they played 13 games. They averaged 180, so you can do that math pretty quick. It's going to come down to Burns' defense, I think. And they've got some new guys, some guys who've played well in the preseason. They've got some starters. Their strength is linebacker in the back end. So I think the way the defensive line plays is going to kind of dictate that game.
We're talking to Jed Blackwell, Prep Red Zone, right here on the Fan Upstate. Week one of high school football is here. Melissa Level and I of Ingles, just a few minutes ago, we're talking about the Friday night televised game this week, starting off with Spartanburg and Gaffney. A game that traditionally, in the past few years at least, Jed, has been a region game. This year it's not, with Gaffney dropping to 4A, and it traditionally, in the past few years, has not been the opener. I know years ago it was, and it was also the closer, I believe, both in the same season. But here we go in 2026, a 5A, 4A matchup. Spartanburg-Gaffney, a very old rivalry, opening up at Gaffney this Friday. Mark Hodge, Jed, trying to avoid losing 10 straight. The Spartanburg Vikings trying to avoid losing 10 straight to the Gaffney Indians, and Mark Hodge looking for his first win over Gaffney. They've got a great running back. We know that. Do you think Spartanburg has enough to overpower and end that streak on Friday night?
Well, there's a lot in that question. So I'm going to drop just a little bit of trivia on you first. Because of that scheduling quirk you mentioned, playing first and playing last, this will be the 111th meeting between the Vikings and the Indians. It's one of the most played rivalries in the state, without a doubt. And in this run, in this 10-game run or 9-game run, Spartanburg's been a little snake bit. They've had a couple of them just about put away and then couldn't quite do it. A couple of years ago springs immediately to mind.
Sure.
I don't know. Breaking in a new quarterback, and I know he played last year, but breaking in a new quarterback, that back four at Gaffney is just so good. Monroe, Montgomery, Dawkins, and McGill, they're unbelievably good. I think they had 12 interceptions between the four of them last year. You're not going to have a whole lot of success throwing the ball. That said, if you got Trenton Lynch, you got a shot.
Sure.
I think TV made a great choice, and I think that's going to be the game of the week.
Talking to Jed Blackwell, Prep Red Zone. A continuation of that question. I was going to ask you this one anyway. What are you looking at as the biggest punch up in weight class between a team playing from a lower classification, punching up at a team from a bigger classification that you believe has a real actual shot at winning?
Oh, gosh. That's not even – there's so many different things that realignment has brought on. I haven't even looked down in the lower classification. Not sure what classification the team that Mountain View is playing from North Carolina. I'm not sure what their classification is. That would be a good bet.
Sure.
That'd be one there, 2A versus whatever that competition is. Gaffney, Spartanburg, but is it really that big number of schools down in 1A is really skewing things a little bit, and it's not these traditional out of region things. And anymore, if you can play, you can play. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. Good question. I just haven't. All I've done is the actual Spartanburg County games. That's what I've delved into, and there's nothing jumping off the page at me there.
Texter says on the Ingles Markets text line, shout out to the Chase reference. Tolo J. Butane getting that in. He says, go Trojans there. Appreciate that text.
I need to tell Jay that not only do I know Chase exists, I know it stands for Carolina Cliffside, Henrietta, Avondale, Sandy Mush, and everybody else.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody else. Talking to Jed Blackwell, talking high school football week 1. I was texting a couple of people earlier today, Jed. You and I were talking about this morning the Eastside Chapman game being moved. This is a weird game because do you really have a pulse on this one? Chapman brings back guys from last year's team. They weren't good last year, but you bring back a lot of those same guys. Are they better than they were in 2025? We believe so. Eastside, when you lose Tankersley, when you lose those guys that they had offensively last year that played both ways that were so good for Eastside, and you tell me your thoughts, I find it hard to put a pulse on this game in which way I lean Eastside Chapman being played on Thursday now.
Yeah, I have a hard time deciding which way I think it's going to go. I will tell you that, yes, Chapman is better because Chapman was hurt. Not only were they challenged a little bit with some numbers last year, they had a bunch of guys that missed a ton of time. Those guys are back. Ashton Moore's back at quarterback. He learned as he went last year. You mentioned the losses for Eastside. One of Eastside's biggest losses was on the offensive line in Carter Williams, and they lost him half-ish way through the year last year. He was a monster over at left tackle. He was phenomenal. He was one of the key pieces of that almost upset over Spartanburg when Eastside seemed to play way over their head last year. But I'm with you. I don't know what the guys – I know that Lindez Smith is an animal and would start anywhere. But he's got to play both ways. Chapman's got a lot of guys that are going to have to play both ways. You're right. This is a really interesting game, and Thursday doesn't make it any better.
Jed, if you're standing square in the middle of Spartanburg County, you could basically throw a dart in any direction and hit a really good football team. In Greenville, it's a little less consistent, right? There are some good teams, but not as many good teams. So who are you looking at as the powers of Greenville County, regardless of classification this year?
I think Hillcrest's very good. I think Fountain Inn's going to be very good for where they're playing. Their quarterback, Sam Holliday, is phenomenal. And if you want to know if he's a pressure guy or not, all he's done is put a team on his back since he was a freshman. He started every game that Fountain Inn's ever played.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Amos Lamb, the new coach at Hillcrest, is going to have them ready. They've got one of the best centers in the state in Max Barnes. There's a shot that Lamb's going to have a good, well-coached offensive line. He absolutely does. Aside from those two, I think Greenville High is going to be very good. I think Greer's going to be better than they have been. So you've got some pieces over there.
Jed, you mentioned Hillcrest, and you talked about earlier also the game of the week this week maybe being Spartanburg-Gaffney, with that being such a big rivalry game regardless of classification, regardless of if it's a region game. But, a game that I look at and think, this one could get interesting depending on the quarterback situation for Dorman Hillcrest this Friday night in week 1. These two teams have actually played each other the past few years in a preseason scrimmage, and I've had a chance to in the preseason. And what's interesting is lately, Dorman has had a little bit of an issue at quarterback with some pick sixes over at Daniel Friday night, working through some quarterback question marks. You know, Cooper Patterson's going to be fine, I believe, in this system, and I don't think Dorman's going to throw it a lot anyways, Jed. But this Hillcrest-Dorman game, could you at 11 o'clock Friday night look at this score and think, wow, look at that score, based on what you think about this game and what's going to happen?
Yeah, because two things are true about Hillcrest. One, Jackson Free was responsible for 2,700 yards and 35 touchdowns last year.
Right.
And he's back at quarterback, and when you've got that, you've got something. And two, nobody's got any idea what Coach Lamb's going to do. It might look like it looked last year under Coach Swigert. We don't know. And nobody knows. And you're not going to know until about midway through the third quarter on Friday. That's why a new coach coming onto a team with a good bit of talent back is always going to be that wild card, particularly in the first 2 or 3 weeks. It's like you see college football, NFL football, even high school football is no exception. A talented backup comes in and he sets the world on fire for about 3 games till you've got some tape on him. So we don't have any tape on Coach Lamb yet. We don't know. So, yes, Hillcrest could go either way, could be a tremendous surprise.
Jed, as you're looking around, you know, the Greenville and Spartanburg counties, you know, the old saying is availability is your best ability. But as we heard from so many of the coaches in Greenville and Spartanburg County, that might be changing to adaptability might be your best ability. Is there a program or two that you look around and say, they're definitely going to look different than they have in the past just based on the personnel that they have available to them this year?
Woodruff immediately. They lost the school's all-time leading tackler, and think about what I'm saying there. Anytime I say something school history at Woodruff in football, that's a mouthful. They lost Aiden Gibson, who was reclassed and gone to Rutgers. He was not only one of the top 4 running backs in the area, and you can take your pick as to who your favorite one is. He was one of the top 4. He's also the best pass-catching back out of the backfield I've seen since the days of Marcus Lattimore. He was an elite receiver, catches it with his hands, turns and gets upfield, doesn't cradle it to his body. He caught the ball like a receiver, and will continue to do that at Rutgers. But you take those 2 guys out of the lineup at Woodruff, one expected because Graybill graduated, the other unexpected and didn't happen in the middle of July. Now you're behind the 8 ball, and what are you going to look like? You can't overhaul your whole system. You got to go with your backups, and well, now, next man up, I guess we'll see.
Jed Blackwell, Prep Red Zone, joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. We were talking about Independence and Burns, Jed, a few minutes ago with the first meeting between those 2 teams coming across state lines. Another first ever. This one, when I saw it on the schedule, I thought, hadn't seen that before because I hadn't. It just seems odd. Boiling Springs, Southside Christian on Friday night. Boiling Springs needing a bounce-back year. They've got really good players, bringing back some solid guys. We all know how good Dennis Glenn is on that Boiling Springs defense. I believe most people would pick them to take care of Southside Christian Friday. But from a big-picture standpoint, when you look at this program, a program that needs to rebound. But, Jed, how in the world do you rebound in that SEC of a region that they're in?
That's a good question, and it's one that several teams have been chasing for 25 years now. How do you? There aren't any nights off. There aren't any rest games. I was talking to Jake Morris at Dorman this morning. He said we got a boatload of 4-quarter games, and that's what everybody in that region has got, a bunch of 4-quarter games. Fortunately for Bowling Springs, I think attrition will have a lot to do with this one. Southside Christian is going to have to play so many guys on both sides of the ball.
Sure.
And when you've got Dennis Glenn leaning on you for 4 quarters, and then you got to turn around and go play offensive line or defensive line after you finish with that, or you've got to go be a linebacker after he's tackled you 4 or 5 times, it's going to wear them down. I do think that Bowling Springs' non-region schedule sets them up to be in a pretty good position going into region play. And, confidence is a dangerous thing. Their defense is as good as anybody's. And if they're playing with a little confidence, they could rebound. They could be pretty scary.
Jed, where are you going to be on Friday night? What is your game that you're going to be covering?
I have got Woodmont and Greer this week. I'm going to see former Dorman assistant Malcolm Long and Will Young, who is both of those guys are two of my favorite people who are doing it. I just love being around them. Great guys, great programs. I need to see Greer's little running back, Calvin McCoy, had 1,400 yards last year, and hardly anybody's heard of him because he did it so quietly. Want to see that. Woodmont's got a couple of young guys I've got to get some eyes on, so I am headed to Dooley Field.
I like it. I like it a lot. A great place to watch a high school football game. Last question for you, Jed. You mentioned Woodruff. Without Aiden Gibson, they have Broome Friday. You know, Broome, Woodruff, always a good one. When you look at that region, you've got some really heavy hitters in there. I think that Woodruff region this year might be one of the more intriguing regions across the upstate. Does that, when you look at MVP losing their quarterback, Woodruff losing the running back, does that really change how you think that region could end up deciding itself?
Yeah, I think Clinton's going to win it.
Yeah.
But those two things changed me. It made me a Clinton believer in a hurry. Corey Fountain's such a good coach, man. He's gonna put his guys in the right position, and if you're by the time they play each other, I'm sure they will be at full strength. But full strength doesn't look like full strength looked a month ago at either of those places. And I will say this about that region: Chesney's quarterback, Evan Reese Lauder, is athletic enough to keep them in any game they play. So that they could be. Yeah. I'm not going to call them a dark horse, but they could play spoiler a couple of times.
Well, Jed Blackwell, he is the best. You're as plugged in as it gets when it comes to high school football here in the upstate of South Carolina. Appreciate your time and looking forward to chatting with you all throughout the season.
Thanks, Jed.
Thanks, guys.
That is Jed Blackwell of Prep Red Zone. He's a great guest, Cole. Knows
good
everything.
Stuff. Good stuff on the stream. Brandon B says, I just hope Burns can get over the hump. Stephanie gets in on the Facebook stream and says, go Jackets. Let's see here. Tolo J. Butane, he did appreciate the Chase reference there. But it's going to be a lot of fun Friday. Week 1 always filled with some surprises. Unknowns, Diesel, Burns, obviously independent, so there's a big one you'll hear right here on the Fan Upstate. But there's always going to be surprises in Week 1, and I think this Friday night, man, it's going to be, if the weather is kind to us in the Upstate, I think you could see some really good matchups, and I'm excited. I'm as fired up as I've ever been. I love it.
Doesn't seem like, Cole, it's as easy to pick Week 1 games this year as it has been in the past.
Some tough ones. No, There's some tough ones. I've made most of my picks, but as I went down my list, there were some that I've left blank because it's because, hey, same thing we talk about in college. You hadn't seen anybody. You know what teams have, but there are so many unknowns, and you feel like, okay, going into Week 2, you have a better idea, right? But it's still incredibly difficult, and you're right. There are some that are going to be tough to pick this week for sure.
Just days away, Cole, a little more than 48 hours away from high school football being back here in the upstate of South Carolina. When we come back, it is time to see what else is going on out there in the sports world. We peek over the fence. We get the dirty on everything that's going on at our Daily Wires coming up next.
Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Rapid fire, Cole. Everything happening in the sports world in one go. These are our daily wires. The buzz happening around the sports world. A lot of people say it can't be done to squeeze this much sports into 6 minutes, but we're doing it every single day. The Braves, well, they suck, Cole. They lost today 4-6, swept by the Twins. I mean, it was pop-up after pop-up in the bottom of the ninth, or top of the ninth, and the Braves just had nothing for them.
No, they just can't figure out. They can't seem to figure out their strengths right now. You know, they just can't put it together. I mean, they're losing series now back to back. That NL East lead dwindling. It's sad, but it's football season, thankfully.
It just proves that baseball is baseball, and teams get streaky, and you can't really figure it out. Texans wideout Jaden Higgins suffered a torn ACL. This was reported by NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. The season-ending injury occurred on Tuesday, yesterday, during the Texans' joint practice with the Raiders. Unfortunate for him and for his team. North Carolina has named veteran transfer Billy Edwards Jr. as the Tar Heels' starting quarterback for the opener in Ireland against TCU. Edwards won a close battle with Miles O'Neill, who transferred in from Texas A&M. So that one is now clear for the time being. We'll see if it can save Bill Belichick's job or not. CEO of Live Golf, Scott O'Neill, says he is confident that Live Golf will continue as it attempts to remake itself amid all the financial hurdles after losing their Saudi public investment funding. He also expressed a desire for Live to be accepted into the larger golf ecosystem going forward, saying, quote, "We have work to do. There are hurdles we have to jump over. It's a very complex transition, and we'll have to deliver. But, man, I wouldn't bet against us."
Live rejuvenating. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they're saying, hey, PGA, could you still include us on some things, even though we're a shadow of the league that we used to be, which really wasn't that strong at all, it turns out. Former Cowboys Pro Bowl corner Trayvon Diggs plans to sign a one-year deal with the Seahawks. It addresses a big issue of need for the Seattle Seahawks. They had some problems there, but it could be a fresh start for Trayvon Diggs after signing with the reigning Super Bowl champions. How do you feel about that? It didn't really end well for him in Dallas.
No, and I thought that his career would have more promise than it has had. I like Trayvon. In Dan Quinn's defense, he was a really unique piece at times when he was in Dallas, but the athlete that he is, like, film don't lie. He's still a heck of an athlete, and I'm happy to see him land in Seattle.
There you go. Shedeur Sanders said that he really doesn't feel any pressure when it comes to the joint practice that the Cleveland Browns have with the Buffalo Bills tomorrow. He's also going to start in the second preseason for the Cleveland Browns on Saturday. Todd Monken hasn't revealed a timeline for when a starter might be named. Both Shedeur and Deshaun Watson could be seen in all the preseason games for the next couple of weeks. But he said, Todd Monken did say that he might make his decision after the dress rehearsal, using that Patriots' third preseason game as a dress rehearsal.
I wonder, in the mind of Todd Monken and the Cleveland Browns, what do you not know about your quarterbacks in Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson that you're going to find out the next few weeks? I'm not saying that I'm not saying these next few weeks aren't important, but you've been with them all year. You know who they are. You know what their strengths are. I guess I get kind of impatient with quarterback battles, and I get it. You want to see them in the fire. You want to see them when the bullets are flying. I get it, but come on. You're the coach. You're getting paid millions. Tell us who's better. Name the starter, and let's roll with them. That's Shedeur or Deshaun, one of the two. It's not that hard.
From bullets flying, Cole, to bombs leaving the ballpark. Did you watch any of last night's ball game between the Brewers and the Seattle Mariners? That was the largest margin of victory in a shutout for a baseball team in the last 126 years. Ooh. It was wild. A 22-0 rout of the Seattle Mariners, and that was just plain ugly if you're a Mariners fan. It's bad.
So I guess it's good that it didn't happen to the Braves, right? Let it happen to somebody else.
That's true. That ties the record that was set, a couple of different times. The Indians beat the Yankees 22-0 in 2004. The Pirates beat the Cubs 22-0 in 1975. You got to go all the way back to 1883 when the Providence Grays beat the Philadelphia Quakers 28-0 to find anything that looked like that.
Been a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Been a minute.
And one more bad piece of news. We don't like delivering these, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Alvin Kamara is expected to be sidelined for at least the next month with the Saints. He has a sprained MCL. He's playing on a one-year deal. He was expected to potentially be able to make considerable additional money with incentives this year. I don't know how that's going to go for him if he's going to have to miss a couple of weeks.
That's tough, man. Like this Saints team, they've had a couple of injuries that the NFC South has thus far. It's just part of it. You mentioned attrition earlier. It's just part of it, but definitely a big loss. You got to have him as part of this offense if you're Kellen Moore. Diesel, earlier in the show, you and I made our South Carolina predictions. We do just as we did yesterday. We revisit what was said. We revisit what our predictions were. A new group of listeners coming in at 5. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do we have any reservations in what we said? We'll get into that next right here on the Fan Upstate.
Upstate.
Well, League One of our Wire to Wire Fantasy Football League, Diesel, is officially FULL. It's full.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going to go with that.
Well, that's a few weeks in. Then it is FU.
Something. Yeah.
Right. Depending on who your team is and how your expectations are entering the season, that is correct. It could be FU, right? By the way, Tolos, if you asked for the fantasy link earlier in the show and I did not send it, it's because League One is full. However, our amazing commissioner, Diesel, Shane Barrett, has already created League number 2. Now, let's see how quickly we can get League number 2 full of our fantasy football league, Wire to Wire. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. So good to be with you on this hump day. We've got Bill Bender of The Sporting News joining us in about 20 minutes talking college football. Doesn't get any bigger and any better than Bill Bender. We're excited for that. Leprechaun of Lyman on YouTube says, hey, I saw MDB's comment from earlier and got me thinking you guys should do a segment on best fantasy football team names. My current one is Famous Jameis Cookies, but I've also used Hawk Tua. Those are pretty good. Hawk Tua is kind of not original Lyman and Leprechaun, but I like the Famous Jameis Cookies for sure.
Yeah, both of those references a little dated, but that's okay.
A little dated. You're right. You're right. But hey, Fantasy Football League 2, it's open. If you want in, just text the show, put fantasy, NFL, whatever you want to do. Dale just texted in and said, send me the link. It's sent, Dale. It's coming your way. Leprechaun of Lyman just texted in. He wants the link as well. Want to remind you, Tolos, this is the fantasy league in the NFL. This has nothing to do with our Upset Picks Challenge. Want to make sure we are all clear on that. The Upset Picks Challenge, by the way, Diesel, starts Wednesday, 1 week from today. Are you ready? Are you fired up?
I'm going to turn this thing around. Last year was a bad season for me.
Man, it was. I can't wait. I'm so excited. The Upset Picks Challenge, 1 week away, and we will debut it next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Before we get back into our South Carolina predictions, let's go to the phone lines, 844-326-3663. Daredevil called during the last break, and we couldn't get him on, but it's your time now. Daredevil, how the heck are you, man?
Doing great, brother. Fixing to head to the pool after this call. I called Jed after he was on. He said it's going to be a every Wednesday thing.
Every Wednesday at 4:22, he will be on with us talking high school football. That's right. We're excited about it.
I'm looking forward to hearing him. I flipped over right when the Braves got beat.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got a good story for you. I was telling Jed about this Greer-Woodmont game. You know, they're doing it to celebrate 40 years at Dooley Field, right?
Okay.
And the first game there was against Woodmont. I've got a best friend that played for Woodmont as a fullback, and I got a good friend that played on Greer's team as a linebacker who says he knocked the crap out of my buddy even though he doesn't know who he is.
No way.
So it's going to be fun, man. And I wanted to know, first of all, I listened to your show when you taking me dove hunting.
Oh, when am I taking you dove hunting? That'd be a heck of a YouTube video. So I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to say why it'd be a heck of a YouTube video.
Well, I'm interested. Y'all watch me on YouTube, The Blind Man Live.
Okay, well, there's Diesel. There's why it would be interesting. The Blind Man Live wants me to take him dove hunting. I don't know.
Yep.
Daredevil, I don't know how that would go, but I'd take you, but I'm not going to sit near you.
And I've got the property for it. My dad used to hunt on this property back in the day. Also, and the Daredevil scores on Twitter, of course.
Yeah.
Are you going to start your show Saturday, sir?
Daredevil, we started last Saturday.
Oh, Daredevil wasn't paying attention.
No.
You've got my phone number and didn't let me know.
I just thought you were a Tolo. I thought you turned it on and left it on, and I thought you knew. You're just this wishy-washy listener. You hop here, you hop there, and you're not plugged in. You're not plugged in. That's on you.
Well, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Right? Yeah, 8 to 10. Now you got me.
You better know.
I mean,
I got you
goodness
questioned.
gracious. Well, I've got 2 radio shows on Saturday morning. One 7 to 8 on another state. Yes, 8 to 10 Saturday morning scramble. We started last week, Daredevil, and this week we'll be in Powdersville. We were in Spartanburg, Bowling Springs last week, but yes, we would love to.
Will you be at the Greer Ingle so I can come pretend to read a book like I did last time?
That was funny. We will be there, and what I'll do is I'll text you and let you know which one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you text Sarah. I don't look at text.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me.
See you, buddy.
Goodness gracious. Daredevil's going to get me in trouble with all these jokes.
He's the best. I can't make jokes about him. I'll let him make jokes, but he's the best. Appreciate that. And, yes, Saturday morning scramble, it is back. It is back this Saturday, or last Saturday, but it's, of course, back again this Saturday as well. This will be in Powdersville, so excited about that. High school football rolling on. Excited to continue to hear you all, Tolos, out there and talk about what your thoughts are on the season. Diesel, we got to get to the phone lines again, right?
Again, yeah. We got Matt from Ohio
Let's
calling
go.
in about predictions. Now, Matt, we are intending here in this segment to update, if we're going to make any changes at all, to our South Carolina predictions. Cole went 8 wins for the Gamecocks. I went 7 wins for the Gamecocks. Who is most likely to be correct?
I'm going to take the under on both, I think, guys. And this isn't like, the Ohio State fan being a hater. I decided when I moved down here 4 years ago that I needed to adopt a team locally. I just can't pull the trigger on Clemson. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of history there between Clemson and Ohio State. So
yeah.
I do follow South Carolina. It's difficult to make predictions in the college football world today. It's fun. But with the transfer portal, teams can improve quickly. And I think one of the things you have to look at is, what did the other teams in the SEC do in the portal? I don't know that I think Clemson or South Carolina really has perfected the use of the transfer portal. And that's maybe another discussion for another show. But, you think about 2 years ago, Ohio State won a national championship with a first-year starter transfer quarterback in Will Howard.
Yeah.
Same thing last year with Mendoza at Indiana. So programs can improve rapidly. I want to see South Carolina do better. I'm kind of being a Big Ten guy. You're kind of raised to be a hater of the SEC. So I want to see South Carolina do well in the SEC against some of the more traditional powers. But, I guess I just kind of feel like with South Carolina this year, I don't know that they've done enough. And I think you're right. I mean, college football is getting so complex, and a lot of it anymore is what you're doing with your assistant coaches. And I think Briles will have a big part of South Carolina's successes or failures. I mean, I feel like they've got athletes, and I know that they brought in, or they're really high on one of their receivers, who I guess is like an athletic freak, and the guy's name is escaping me now. But I know that they've got some talent, but it's a lot of it too, I think, is going to come down to Briles. But I hate to be that guy, and I'm not being a hater, but I see them as more of a 500 team. I hope not, but I don't know that what did they do from last year that you find those extra wins in? And with that also in mind, did the teams that they play upgrade? Like if you look at LSU, new coach, new quarterback, is Levitt going to be healthy? Who knows? But if he is, that could be a home run. I mean, there's just a lot there, and I don't feel like South Carolina maybe did enough get enough impact players in the portal relative to what some of the other schools in the conference have done.
Yeah, look, it's going to depend on what Jacarius Peak does, what Carter Miller from UCF does, what DJ Black at wide receiver from UCF does. You're right. It's a portal race. It's an arms race in the portal. There's no doubt about that. I do think at some point coaching matters. And Matt, like there are games in the SEC, man, where you watched South Carolina last year and thought, good God, what are they doing? So to your point about Briles and Stan Drayton, maybe it's not this year you see that instant upgrade because at the end of the day, it's the players' game, the players that make the difference, right? But I just think ultimately, I think there'll be a much better coached unit. So this is why we're doing this segment where we're revisiting what our predictions were. Yesterday, I took one less win off of Clemson, and there's a chance I may do that today. I'm with you. I always start optimistic, but I also, after time, I have to bring myself back down to reality too.
Well, that's the great thing about predictions in preseason is, and maybe, some of those guys from UCF, which is not a typical, powerhouse program, but, maybe some of those guys will be impact players that were kind of diamonds in the rough, and you never know. I would expect, like you said, I feel like South Carolina's growth might possibly be next year if, the other thing with the portal is you've got to retain your talent. I mean, people talk about, the Ohio State payroll, but a lot of Ohio State's money is spent on retention.
Sure.
I mean, keeping players you have, because that's something that people don't talk about. But, you get these guys that are studs, they've got opportunities. I mean, we were hearing all kinds of rumors from, the Columbus area about teams offering Jeremiah Smith, $8 million, $4 million, and I don't know whether those are substantiated or not, but, you've even got to retain the talent. I know, these guys talk about re-recruiting these kids every year. So it's just, I mean, it's hard to base a prediction on what a team did last year because it changes so quickly anymore.
Well, Matt, I would say this. South Carolina lost 4 games by 10 points or less last year. One of them was a 1-point loss. I think just based on the reports that we've already heard, with the pre-snap penalties and the mid-play penalties drastically coming down in all of their practice sessions already, I think it turns those 10-point or less kind of games into winnable opportunities for South Carolina. They turned 2 of those around. All of a sudden, they're a bowl-eligible team last year. If they just split and go 500 in those games where they were so bad, kicking themselves while in the you-know-whats before the play even got underway.
Right. I didn't think they were particularly well coached last year in the games that I watched. No. Hey, one other thing,
understatement
quickly,
of the century.
Being new to the and your coordinators should help with that. I mean, that's not that anymore today that the head coaches are. I mean, they're involved and they're hands-on, obviously, but they're kind of the CEO, and they the position coaches are the ones that need to deal with that kind of stuff on a granular level. Hey, real quick, guys, being new to the area, I live in Travelers Rest. If I want to check out some good local high school football, who are some of the better programs around here? Just give me 4 or 5 that are within maybe a half an hour of TR.
You want to stay in Greenville County, or are you willing to come over to Spartanburg County? I mean, what's your preference there?
I mean, Duncan, Lyman.
Well,
I don't. You tell me,
yeah,
man.
So I'll give you a few real quick. I mean, how far are you? TR. I mean, listen, I don't mean to disrespect TR, but TR's not the best football program, and Chris Goodman does an incredible job there. So I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but like if you were to example Friday, I'll give you a couple good ones here. I think Fountain Inn, Greenville, this Friday could be a good one. 2 good teams. Serene Stadium's a fun place to watch a game. They just got a brand new field turf, upgraded Serene Stadium a little bit. Fountain Inn's got a really good quarterback, and Sam Holliday. Burns, a new stadium last year, $35+ million stadium at the high school levels, incredible. If you want to drive to Duncan, it's worth it. It's a really good environment, and it's a fun place to watch a game. But Fountain Inn Greenville could be a really good game. But with your immediate area, we talked about it earlier in the interview with Jed Blackwell. There's some good Greenville County teams. I'd say at some point get over and watch Hillcrest. Hillcrest, and maybe when they get into that region with Burns this year, Hillcrest is loaded with talent. So you've got some good ones. TR's a little down, but there's some good ones within 20, 30 minutes of driving for sure.
Good deal. I'll have to check out the Fountain Inn School. My son lives in Fountain Inn, so
there you go.
I'll maybe try to slip down to that one on Friday. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Love it, Matt.
Feel free to text me anytime, and we'll get you. Text the show. We'll get you a schedule of the games, and Diesel and I are going to continue to talk a lot of high school football on the show. Phone line's blowing up, huh? Phone line's blowing up. Cocky,
Cocky
for a reason
wants to get in.
Oh, Cocky. What's up, Cocky? Cocky for a reason.
Hey, loving the football talk. Hey, it's honest. It is honest.
It's on, baby.
I love the respect. Love the respect y'all give the local high school teams. It's a great thing because, like I say, because the Upstate has a good round of high schools that produce some good quality players. Man.
No doubt.
They really do.
No doubt. Appreciate you tuning into the high school stuff, Cocky, for real. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, like I say, I give credit where credit is due. Like that, but like that, Matt. I can't figure Matt out. Like I say, he said he wants to pull for Carolina, but he over Clemson, but he does like that. But like I say, Carolina did well in the transfer portal. Their major problem last year was the offensive line, and they have totally revamped the offensive line. And Bryles is coming in. I mean, this, and talking about retention, we retained our three best players that could have jumped ship. They could have went somewhere. They had some good offers elsewhere. We retained our good skilled players. We filled the holes we had in offensive line. I said it. I got 9 wins for Carolina,
wow.
and I'm sticking to it.
And I think, Cocky, I think that's why it's tough to predict the Gamecock schedule this year is because they do have guys coming back. And Diesel and I talked about that in the 3 o'clock segment when we made our predictions today. They've got guys coming back, but there are still so many unknowns. You have new coaches. You've got new players. Could they gel? They could. But what worries me is, are they going to be able to be given the opportunity to do that in the SEC? If Carolina, with this coaching staff and this roster, or in the ACC, I'd feel a lot better about their rebound. But the SEC, Cocky, it just doesn't give you much grace. It doesn't give you much grace, and that's where my concern is.
That's always the concern. I mean, that's the world we live in. We're backloaded heavy this year on our schedule. I mean, we should start out, good, put up some good W's early on. If we can pull up an upset on Alabama, Katie bar the door, baby. Katie bar the door.
Ooh,
good stuff. Good stuff,
Thanks,
Cocky. Good to hear from you.
Appreciate you.
Cole, they got an offensive line, to his point, that has been revamped. You got dudes coming in from UCF, East Carolina, Purdue, NC State. Now, I won't pretend to know all of their stories, but if these are guys that showed out at those schools and then they're taking a step up to a higher profile conference like the SEC in South Carolina, give me those guys who showed out and are hungry versus guys that were just buried on the depth chart and disgruntled and are moving around, reshuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Any day.
So before we run to a break, we have Bill Bender. We got to get to that. I know we got to get to it quick. Are you changing your prediction?
I went 7-5 with losses to Alabama on the road, Tennessee at home, Oklahoma on the road, and then Georgia and Clemson to close things out. I mean, if you had to twist my arm, I could tell you maybe they get one of those games that I have them losing. But then I could also tell you that they could lose one of the games that I have them winning. I could easily say, well, they could lose the A&M game because A&M's coming in off of a bye. So I'm going to stick right where I am at 7-5. So they jump 3 wins from 4 to 7 this year.
I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday. The exact same thing. I'm changing 1.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So here's my pattern. I get too optimistic. I get too high. And then it takes me a couple hours. I got to bring myself back down to reality, right?
Where are your convictions, Cole?
I don't have any with South Carolina. They're losing to Alabama. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to flip that. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to go agree with you, 7 wins. I think 7 wins is more realistic. I can't convince myself at 8.
It's not a bad year.
I've got it 7. I've got them at 7. So there's my final prediction. No more changing. Today was our last chance to do it, and it's in. 7-5. You and I both have the Gamecocks going.
Yeah, 7-5, and then that makes things scary for 2027. We're not going to talk about that yet, but they'll have a new quarterback. A very good chance that Nick Harbor is gone after this year as well. So they're going to be rebuilding a lot next year again. But let's go ahead and run off to break right now, Cole, because we have a big-time guest. Bill Bender of The Sporting News is starting early, starting here now with a week and change to go before the first college football action. We'll talk to Bill next.
Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, Cole, I'm not great at doing math here. Whatever 7 times 24 is, that's exactly how much time Bill Bender, our very next guest, has to start thinking about his week 1 upset pick, because I know he's going to want to be a part of the challenge once again this season. Bill, how are you? It was great. It's great to have you back on. It's been a while. How are things?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yeah, I think I finished like last or next to last in that thing last year. We will have to improve on that.
We're going to have you take some bigger swings this year. Instead of the 3-point spreads, you need to go for the 30-point spreads because some of them hit.
Well, there's a couple 30-point spreads I'm already looking at for week 0. So if USC goes down, that's not my pick.
Gotcha.
We'll
awesome.
get into it here in a couple weeks or next week.
Next week, man. Bill, it's Cole. Appreciate you hopping on with us, man, these next 15 minutes. Always appreciate your insight. College football, man, it's here. It's just around the corner. We were talking in the last segment. We had a caller from Ohio. It's Matt from Ohio. He recently moved to the upstate of South Carolina, and he was talking about transfer portal, how Ohio State has proved that you can win with the transfer quarterback. Indiana proved that you can win at the highest level with that. Let me ask you this. Did South Carolina, starting local with you, because he brought this up, and I want to get your perspective. Shane Beamer, he brought in guys like Kendall Briles and Stan Drayton and Randy Clements as assistant coaches. But when it comes to impact guys out of the portal, do you believe in the SEC, Shane Beamer and this South Carolina program did enough, Bill, to make a big enough of a splash to improve from where they were at 4-7, 4-8 a season ago?
Well, I mean, it's life in a 16-team league. I mean, one thing they need to do is protect Lenore Sellers a lot better. You can't give up 40-plus sacks again, not at this level. And it's fleeting. Who's to say they can't be this year's Vanderbilt or somebody in that conference that can make the run up. But, it's the same life that Nebraska is living in the Big Ten. People ask me, when are they going to break through? I was like, maybe when they're not playing in an 18-team league where there's some certified hammers at the top. So, and the Big Ten's got 3 of them at the top, and I'm sure that Ohio State fan that called in knows what Ohio State has coming back. Now, does it matter that the quarterback's from the portal or not? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's been working lately, obviously. But, you look at the last 3 national championship quarterbacks, Mendoza and Howard obviously made it work, and Michigan made it work with McCarthy, who wasn't a portal quarterback. I guess I glaze over that a little bit because so many quarterbacks do transfer nowadays.
Hey, Bill, what are you hearing from camp in at Indiana where Josh Hoover comes in and on paper he was a more prolific passer than was Fernando Mendoza, and the ability or your prediction of the ability for Curt Cignetti to essentially do it again and make him a more precise passer, make him less mistake and interception happy? I mean, your confidence level in his ability to do it again with Josh Hoover.
I've learned not to doubt Cignetti anymore. I mean, I did that all last year. I didn't think they would go to Penn State and win, and didn't think they would go to Iowa and win, and certainly didn't think they'd go to Oregon and win, and they did all of those things. I mean, I think the thing to watch, and Kurt talked about this at Big Ten Media Day, was it's going to be a different approach for Josh Hoover. It's going to be, they have a running game. They have a nasty defense. I think that's what we don't talk about. Brian Day mentioned that. We don't talk enough about Indiana's defense is filthy up the middle, and they're really good in the trenches. I think, their secondary lost a couple guys, but I look for more of the same out of Indiana. I don't know if they'll win every game again, but that's a good football team.
When you look at their schedule, Bill, Indiana, you see those 2 games. Without looking, I think it's Ohio State, Michigan back-to-back. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And then outside of their schedule, man, you see some winnable games. Would you say that they're a definite lock to be a playoff team again this year?
I wouldn't say that because, I mean, all it takes is 3 losses, and then you can get bounced. And you said it, that 2-game stretch against Ohio State, who they haven't beaten the regular season. They beat them in the Big Ten Championship. They haven't beat them in the regular season since like 1989 or 1990, and they haven't won at Michigan since the 60s. So, and I do think they'll get a good swing from the Wolverines there. But, if they can get to 10 and show that they're in that top half of the Big Ten, it's entirely possible that they run the table again. It's I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but I mean, looking at last year, again, they were beating teams by an average of like 30 points per game. I think it was 28.9 or 29.9. So I think we're forgetting how good they were, one, and that they have enough of those pieces back, two. And they brought in some guys from the portal like Hoover and Nick Marsh and Turbo Richard. And I think at the center of it is Kurt Signetti, who, when 20 years from now, we're going to look back at that, and it's kind of like Dabo at Clemson. It's like, it's not supposed to happen there, but it did happen there, and that's the guy that's the reason why.
Would you see Kurt Signetti as a Big Ten lifer?
I don't think he's going anywhere else. I mean, he said if he were, he might have gone to Penn State last year. I mean, think about the openings he could have gone to. Penn State, Michigan, any number of SEC. There were 17 Power 4 jobs that were replaced last year, and he didn't go to any of them. And he also said at the championship game that the appetite and interest to go in the NFL wasn't there. And that was when the Steelers job opened up, and he's a Pittsburgh guy. So I'm going to say I think this is Kurt Signetti's last stop. He could run 5 to 7 years there. He doesn't have to. I mean, honestly, guy, it's probably not true. Indiana could not win. I'm of the belief that Indiana probably didn't have to have another winning season while he's there, and they're not going to get rid of him. He won a national title.
Talking to Bill Bender, the Sporting News, right here on the Fan Upstate, 97.1 Spartanburg, 97.7 Greenville, 101.5 Anderson on the Odyssey and iHeartRadio apps. Also watching the show on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Clemson, LSU in a couple of weeks, Bill. Both won 7 games. Is it fair to see in the AP poll how high LSU is ranked and where Clemson, for the first time since 2011, is not ranked entering the season in the AP? Your thoughts on what you saw earlier this week on the AP poll?
Clemson easily could have been ranked, and that spot's about right. If they were ranked, it would have been around 23 to 25 anyway. And they can erase all that and jump right into the pool if they go beat LSU. Right off the go. So I think it's pretty simple plan of attack there, so to speak. And that's a tough game, and it's a big game for Lane, and it's a big game for Dabo, and I'm looking forward to it because I think the overreaction in games like that in week 1 tends to go to the loser. But that's still a tough assignment to go to Tiger Stadium. South Carolina also not ranked. How many votes did they get? I literally was just looking at this, and I'm blanking on. They were in the receiving votes, correct?
Clemson. You talking about Clemson?
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. I think it was very few. Very few.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about that. I mean, they're going to have to work through that conference, and, it's going to be a meat grinder in the SEC. It always is because they have so many teams that are ranked or close to being ranked, and, it's just a tough conference to plow through. I think part of it is there's not really an untouchable anymore. Georgia and Texas are loaded. There ain't no doubt. But they're not as untouchable as like Georgia. When I watched Georgia in 2022 early in the season, I don't know if you guys did the same thing. I said, they're not losing. I mean, I don't feel that way about anybody in the top 7 this year. I think any of them could lose.
Bill, I have often been accused of being a fatalist on this show. I'm always looking for who's going to be the next fired coach. But there's 2 in the ACC that always seem like they're on borrowed time. And right now, for me, it's Bill Belichick and Mike Norvell down at Florida State. What does your intuition say, that both survive the season, one of them survives the season, or neither survives the season?
Ooh. It's a little more dire with Belichick. That's a good question, by the way. One of the things that could keep Norvell around is, one, they have a winning season, and that monster buyout he has. It really, and I'm not saying, crazier things have happened. We've seen some tremendous buyouts get paid out because they want the next guy in, but I don't think Norvell's as dire as Belichick, because it's not just about what's on the field. It's about what's off the field. You've had Michael Lombardi placed on leave, Steve Belichick placed on leave. We haven't seen too many Jordan Hudson highlights, but that's bound to happen, unfortunately. I think we'll see a couple of those. And it comes down to, for all of us college football fiends, that's who we're going to be watching at noon in a week, right? Like, we're all going to have eyeballs on Dublin and watching them play TCU. And if they get blown out, then you start to peek at their schedule. They play Clemson early in the season. They play Notre Dame and Chapel Hill. How bad do you think that one's going to get? And then you get into, what if they go to Pitt and get hammered? You start to assign, target dates for when he's out.
Yeah. And you do the same thing with Florida State, though, too. Like you mentioned the buyout for Mike Norvell, $54, $59 million, somewhere in there. It's just, you said it, a tremendous number. But, Bill, let's dance through this schedule in Tallahassee. I mean, New Mexico State, okay. SMU, not a lot of confidence. Going against Kevin Jennings at Bama, okay, Central Arkansas. Then you get Virginia, 11-win team last year. Louisville, preseason ranked. Miami, Clemson, back-to-back-to-back. Then you get Boston College, Pitt, NC State, and Florida. But there's a realistic chance, Bill, that when you are finished and you wipe your hands of Halloween night, you've lost to Clemson, you've lost to Miami, you've lost to Louisville, Virginia, Alabama, and SMU. That would be 6 losses, and my golly, that would get him fired before Halloween, right?
Right. I would not. It would be dire. And I think, to your point, everything I just said about how we're all going to watch TCU and North Carolina, we'll be watching Florida State SMU as well. That's on Labor Day night. I'll have it on. I know you guys will, right? So if they get slaughtered there and it's really bad, and SMU is going to be a good football team, then you get the season off to this really rough start. And they, like I said, they've had the world's longest hangover since the playoff stop. After going undefeated, they just haven't recovered from that. And in a lot of ways, the quarterback play hasn't been the same. They have talent. So, both of those guys are really in the crosshairs in terms of hot seat coaches. I think they would be 1 and 2 on any coaching list like that. And then you start to get into names like Dave Aranda at Baylor. Big year for them with DJ Lagway. Fickle at Wisconsin, that's going around. But I think they've invested in Luke more than people think. And they were a little behind on the NIL game. Really interested to see what the Badgers do against Notre Dame at Lambeau Field in the opener.
Bill, who do you like? Since I'm a fan of a group of 5 school, a group of 6 school now. Every 5 years we're changing this nomenclature, and it gets harder and harder to keep up. Of that crop of schools, who kind of catches your eye early as, hey, they might actually have something pretty good this year?
Well, I mean, there's a couple schools. Obviously not too many got votes in the poll. Boise State will be good as usual. I think UNLV's got something. There's a really good Week 0 game on at 10 o'clock at night. On that Saturday, you're going to have Memphis take on UNLV, and that's a big piece in that puzzle. Because you look at who else is getting votes. It's like Navy. I would love to see a service academy get to the playoff. It would be incredible. And if Navy or Army were able to do that, it would be awesome. Western Michigan and the MAC is interesting. So, and then, of course, North Dakota State making that leap up. And I think they're a really intriguing team. We know how good they were in the FCS. They're playing that opener in the Fargo Dome against Jacksonville State. I can't wait. I spoke with their coach today. There's a Tim Polisak. They are excited about making that bump up in Fargo, and I'm going to love it.
Bill, we love having you on. Always appreciate you, man. We'll do it again next Wednesday, and until then, be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll be thinking of that upset pick. I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much.
I love
Bill
it, Bill.
Bender, The Sporting News. Thinking about the upset pick. Did you hear that, Tolos? National guest, big-time national college football writer of The Sporting News, thinking about the upset picks. And you better be, because we are less than a week now, I guess. Is that right? Because it starts at 4 next Wednesday.
By this time next Wednesday, we will have hopefully, 125 plus picks already in, because this thing always blows up in week number 1. But Cole, there's always those Tolos that wait. They're like, oh, I didn't realize it actually started this week. It starts next week. Don't be that guy Wednesday. That misses it.
And you know what? I have a little inside information. The man, the myth, the legend that's the orchestrator of this Upset Picks Challenge, Dan B. He's in this Ingles right now where I am at Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg on the west side. He told me, he said, I've had enough. He slammed his fist down on the table. He said, I've had enough of people, Diesel, who do not pick for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. And just to give you a little sneak peek, we're going to get to it next week. There's going to be you sit out, you turn it off and leave it off. You don't pay attention. There's going to be some punishment coming your way, according to Dan B. And I like it. I'm for it. I'm all for it, Diesel.
So we have the choice to either unilaterally adopt this rule because it's our show, it's our challenge, and we can just do what we want, or we could go the Democratic route, Cole, and put it up to a vote. What do you think we ought to do?
Oh, no. This is not.
You don't want to introduce it. You don't want to test it around.
No,
You're just saying, decree. This is what's happening.
Yeah, people who leave things up for opinion are bad leaders. No, you make the decision, you do it, and you live with it. That's how you do things. You change the rule if Dan B feels that's what's best for the Upset Picks Challenge. Dadgummit, I think I'm supporting him. I think we support him. And you know what? You're right. You have people who. I don't know. Listen, people are busy. People have jobs. I'm not saying they don't, but they just all of a sudden sneak around and, didn't know the upset picks. Didn't know this happened. Well, if you we say Tolo a lot on this show. If you turn it on and leave it on, even if you got things going on, leave it on the background. That way, every now and then you can peep in. You won't be estranged, Diesel. You will be involved and you'll be plugged in. You'll know what's going on.
It's very simple. It's very simple. Everybody's got a smartphone, right? You go in your calendar. And then on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, you put in a notification to get in your upset pick. And then when it asks you, do you want to do this notification one time or every week? You click every week. Bam.
Yeah.
Through the entire football season, you get a notification on your phone to get in your upset pick. And there's no excuse.
You can literally tell Siri to remind you every Wednesday at 4 o'clock to get your upset pick in. There's no excuse. Like you said, no excuse. But if you're turning it on and leaving it on, you won't do it anyways. So that's exciting. Tolos, if you do want to join the fantasy football, Wire Fantasy Football League 2, we had to go to 2 leagues because League 1 got full that quick in a day.
Love it.
I mean, my gosh. League 2 is open. If you text the show 844-326-3663, I will send you the link. Shane Barrett off to a tremendous start with his commissioner status as he is now running. Commissionership is what he's doing.
Commissionerhood?
That's it. He's the commissionership. He is full of commissionership, Diesel. That's what he's full of. And we are excited about that. Hey,
I think you just gave him his team name, full of commissionership.
I like it. Chapel Bill, we brought him up in that interview with Bill Bender. Chapel Bill has made a decision. Bill's made a decision. We're going to get into it. What was that decision? That's next. in Chapel Hill because Chapel Bill made a decision. You and I a couple of weeks ago were talking about Billy Edwards Jr. and a quarterback battle with Miles O'Neill, the quarterback from Texas A&M who transferred in at UNC. Well, today Chapel Bill has made a decision to name veteran transfer Billy Edwards Jr. Doesn't sound like a really good elite quarterback, Billy Edwards does it, but Bill has named Billy the starting quarterback for the season opener against TCU in Ireland. And, again, Edwards, 23. He won a close battle with Miles O'Neill, the guy from A&M. But you have the connection with Bobby Petrino. He was familiar with that offense. Started his career back in 2021, redshirt freshman at Wake Forest. Granted a 6th year of eligibility, medical redshirt, COVID, all the 9 years. And it played at Wisconsin last year. Got hurt on a non-contact play in the first game. So here you go. Billy Edwards is going to be the guy who turns this thing around for the Tar Heels.
Oh, Billy! Look, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to spend all this time thinking of ways that his already funny real name, if he had one, could be used for additional name, image, and likeness and sponsorship opportunities. He is just a hard worker. Put your head down and focus. Don't worry about all that other stuff. We'll see. I mean, can he save Bill's job? It feels like we're already at that place. They've changed over some administration there at North Carolina, and you know as well as I do, Cole, when administrations change, the new guys come in, and they're not always enamored with the old guy, and it may make them to may lead them to making the decision to just exit stage left on this experiment a little early.
I think, Diesel, the most interesting aspect of this battle, and battles when you have multiple transfer quarterbacks in, is how coaches treat a quarterback battle, quarterback competition when two guys have transferred in. Now, as we said, Billy Edwards got the nod because of his experience in Bobby Petrino's offense, right? The familiarity with his offense, if you will. So that helped. But when you have two guys come in, it's a clean slate, both transfers into your program, that just fascinates me, because it's a new sport of college football where you can have two guys come in for one quarterback competition battle, and if one guy doesn't get it, guess what? He may never play a snap at your school, depending on what year he is, He might be right back into the portal, Diesel, and if Billy Edwards secures the job and maintains the starting quarterback position at North Carolina, you have just so many revolving doors. And this guy's 6th year. Oh, my God. I mean, it's an ever-changing sport in these quarterback competitions with portal guys. My goodness, it's interesting.
You bring up a good point there. You bring a guy in, and, they're all getting paid something, right? They're not coming to your school. They're not coming to North Carolina just because they think, hey, this is my best chance to play. They're making some money, so now you're paying money to a guy that you have no intention of ever putting on the field.
Never, maybe never. By the way, Shane Barrett on Twitter tweeting us with some I don't know what kind of game this is that he is inviting us to play on X. If you haven't done so, make sure you follow Diesel and I. Diesel on radio is where you can find Diesel. I'm at the Cole Bryson, and follow at the Fan Upstate as well, as football season's here, man.
Yes, it is, Cole. And when we come back, let's get into this topic. Football is back, but football might be getting bigger, and Roger Goodell has officially put it out there, Cole, of his intentions for the NFL in the future. His plans are laid bare, and I don't like it. We'll see if you like it. We'll see if the Tolos like it next. Cole, I think all of our Tolos know how you and I feel about international games in the NFL. Hate them. I don't like them. I don't like that they take away from home games from fans of the city, of the team. I don't like the fact that we now have to get up and watch games in Germany at like 9 a.m. I don't like it. I don't like anything about international games. But Roger Goodell is clearly, and he said so in an interview, we're going to get into some of what he had to say here, he is clearly heading down the path of international teams and worse.
Heading down the path of international teams and worse. I don't like the and worse part, by the way. I don't like that
that's the problem.
Yeah.
So here's where we are this year. 2026 will already feature 9 international games spread around the world. There's Melbourne, Australia. There'll be games in Rio in Brazil, a couple of games in London. That is an increase from 8 international games in the past. And now, Cole, there has already been a vote to increase the number of international games from 9 to 10 starting in 2027. So one more game will be taken away from us next year. And that's not all. The vote also removed the ability of teams to prevent their home games from being moved to an international host. Why in the hell would these owners vote against their own interests, which is fans in the stands in their city?
Well, money, I guess, is the ultimate answer. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, a couple of things to all that. Number one, you're right. I don't like international games because I like what it does for a home city, a home fan base in the NFL. Now, the point about watching football on Sunday at 9 a.m., I love that. I love waking up and there's football on TV. I'm a fan of that. So
Sunday morning is for catching up on college football.
What is there catching up to do? We watch it all on Saturday.
I tune in and I go to my ESPN app and I watch the recap show at the end of a college football final. That is my Sunday morning routine.
Look, I don't hate football being on because I love football, and if it's on, I'll watch it. I've watched preseason football this year, but I do think, Diesel, okay, are we getting away? I mean, okay, now it's 9, maybe 10, and now I hate the worst part of what you said is that NFL owners can't save their home games. I hate that more than anything. I feel like at some point, and I guess I'd like to ask Roger Goodell this question, are we getting away from what really makes the game special? You know, like when you talk about a crowd in Philadelphia on a Saturday or a Sunday night in the playoffs, heck, regular season's fine too. I'll give you another example. You think New York, the Giants, they're a bad football team, right? It hadn't been good in a few years, and the Cowboys were bad the past couple of years defensively. You bet your money that week 1 when Dallas and New York play on Sunday Night Football, Diesel, and those two fan bases in the NFC East, who absolutely are two of the most passionate fan bases in NFL football, when they get together, it doesn't matter if that game's in Dallas or in New York. It doesn't matter. It's in New York this year. But even with fan bases that have struggling teams, New York MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, if you could be a fly on the wall on September 13th at 8:20, that place will be bonkers. That place will be bonkers, and that's what I guess that's one of the things I love about NFL football is the home crowds. I love going to games and seeing the passionate fan bases. I just don't ever want to get to a point where we feel like we're getting away from that.
Well, and for the longest time, Cole, it has been taking away some of the worst matchups. And that's not really much consolation to the fans of those teams that want to be able to watch their own team in their own city. But if you want to nationalize the fandom, you say, okay, week 4 matchup between the Jags and the Browns. Okay, fine. Play that game in Dusseldorf for all I care. But the Browns fans and the Jags fans certainly do care. And my concern, Cole, and this is something Roger Goodell, I'm sure they've studied these things and they have deemed them essentially not important. But what does it do when it erodes away the fandoms in Cleveland and in Jacksonville? Like, it's a slow erosion, but it will happen over time. Now, here's the problem. What I just told you about the owners losing the ability to essentially veto international games, that's not even the worst part. I told you there was an increase
tell me the worst
games
part then.
and the worst.
I don't want to hear it.
This is gonna get bad. So here's what Roger Goodell had to say. He said, quote, "At some point there will be NFL teams outside of the USA. I have no doubt that this will happen one day." He didn't specify cities. He didn't specify what countries they might be, but he did say that there were places that could host teams. And he also made an even more aggressive prediction that the new international destination could potentially host to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl no longer being played on American soil is sacrilegious as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but I think I'm more upset with regular season home games being moved in the Super Bowl. I know that's
really?
because like realistically, I'm not going to the Super Bowl anyway. You know what I mean? Like most people in America can't afford a ticket to the Super Bowl. So
most people can't afford tickets to regular season games.
Well, regular season games you can get tickets pretty cheap. I mean Panther games. I mean, gosh, you can get them pretty cheap, right? I mean, sorry to take a dig there at your. The regular season home games, the playoff home games, don't touch the playoffs, and that means in Super Bowl too. That should include the Super Bowl too, to your point. But no, it's ingrained in who we are, and those fan bases, man, they're so passionate. And we talked about the Panthers fan base yesterday, and what's missing and why they're not this, why they're not that. But I understand the money aspect of it. I guess I get why they do it and go overseas and all these new eyeballs on the sport. But at the same time, I think Roger Goodell, the battle that he should be having on a daily basis is asking himself, how do you juggle the international football games, Diesel, Roger, while at the same time trying to keep the integrity of what makes this league so special, and that's the fans here in America, right? And I don't have a problem going overseas. Like, it's not the fact that they're getting it's nothing about that. It's just the fact that 11 games, was that what you said, going from 9 to 10, maybe 11? When does it stop, I guess, is my question. Can you get Roger on the show real quick? Can you text him?
Yeah. Let me just dig right into his right into our Rolodex, and we'll find it.
When does it stop, though? Answer that question, Diesel. When does it stop?
You're right. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And the way they will get their increase in international games is they will add international cities. And whatever that means. Does that mean they're going to create an international, like a true NFL Europe division with a team in London, a team in Spain, a team in Paris, a team in Germany? Is that the future of the NFL, is creating a division?
Yeah.
Or do they sprinkle those teams around the divisions that already exist, or expand the divisions to 5 teams? Who knows what that may be? But Cole, they want to expand into South America. They want to go to Mexico. They want to expand into Brazil. They want to expand into Asia. They want to expand to Australia. I mean, think about it, Cole. If they're hosting the Super Bowl in Melbourne, Australia, you're getting up to watch the Super Bowl kickoff at 10 a.m. Is that what you want?
Mm-mm.
Super Bowl Sunday, 10 a.m. kickoff.
No, that's not what I want.
It's baked into the fabric of America that the Super Bowl is always played at night on a Sunday in February.
And I'm with you. And Roger Goodell, that's why I think these crossroads are so important. But does he care? I'm sure he gets on interviews and says that he cares. But, Diesel, think about this. They wouldn't be playing the overseas games now if they weren't going to have a league over there. They wouldn't be doing it. They will be in London. They will be in London first. They will be in London. Yep. They already have the stadium infrastructure, right? They've got the Germanys, the Brazils, the Spains, the other markets. They will be there. And it's going to take the NFL is going to look so different. It's going to create a different monster because you just think of the obstacles. Let's go through these obstacles for a minute. It's not whether or not people would buy tickets. Goodell's already seeing that happens. But let's bring up logistics. A London team flying from London to Seattle or London to Los Angeles and vice versa. Los Angeles Rams flying to London. Talk about travel and recovery. Also, free agency. How does that happen? You're asking families to move overseas? Oh, wait a minute. Hey, have we even talked about immigration or tax issues and all the have to see? You know what I mean? There's just so many different aspects of it. So I don't know if the NFL would eventually expand multiple teams at once. Diesel, it seems like they would rather than putting just one isolated team over there. You know, like a four-team international expansion could make the scheduling easier, and I could see that happening before they just stick a London over there by itself.
Totally. I could see even doing the New York, LA thing and doing 2 in London, 2 in Germany, put one in Berlin, put one in whatever one of the other cities, Hamburg, that have hosted NFL games already. But London certainly seems poised for 2 NFL teams.
It does, and I guess my biggest thing is, my brain goes to why not? And I guess there's Roger Goodell would give me an answer for this as well, Diesel. Why, if you want to do this so badly, why not just have an NFL International League? Right. That makes more sense to me. Rather than putting one there, one here, imagine like the NFL creating an NFL International. It's like a sister league. I just think that makes a lot more sense rather than trying to make London to L.A. work every week.
And then don't even play them in the regular season. Play them in the preseason. How that would be great if their league was separate, functional, and the Carolina Panthers are playing the London Fog or whatever they may be in game 1 of the preseason, and then they're playing the Hamburgers in preseason game number 2. I'm totally fine with that. I don't care if they do it in the preseason. That's not how they're going to do it. That's the easiest, most logical way to do it. It's just not how they're going to do it.
I just don't want them to mess with what we already have. That's the thing. It's like, don't mess it up, man. You've got such a good thing going. Don't mess it up.
How far can you push the bounds for the sake of greed? This is all for greed. It's about expanding and making more money in other countries. It's not about making the product better. How much farther can you expand for the sheer sake of greed before local American fans just say, you know what, enough. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a fan of this anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a heck of a bet because so far, out of every scandal that's blown through the NFL in the past 25 years, they've only gotten bigger. So
you'll definitely lose people.
There's I guess there's a cockiness that says it's fine. We can do whatever we want to do, but we can screw with the fans as many ways as we want to, and they will keep coming back no matter what.
But does Goodell look at it from a standpoint and say, okay, we'll lose fans, but for those fans we lose, we'll gain 20x, And I just don't know if he cares. I don't know if he cares about the fans that love the home, passionate games in the United States of America. And of course he cares enough to take their money, but if he sees an opportunity, to your point, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Do I like football being on Sunday mornings? Sure. I watch football all day if I can. All day, every day. I think I'm going to glue myself to the TV the first weekend of college football, right? Not move. Find a local
poor power bill.
Oh, find a local restaurant or a sports bar and just sit and don't move. Just don't move all day. Just find you a good, comfortable chair. I love it, but at the same time, I don't love this. I don't love moving games overseas. I don't love losing opportunities. Those NFL. If you told those out, if you've never been to an NFL game, look, is it different than college? It's different. It's different. And people say, well, college football is better, and that's fine. It may be. The passion from college football is so passionate because of the students that are attending those colleges, right? The students are what makes college football so passionate. But you go to even in recent years with the Panthers hadn't been great, Diesel, and Cowboys hadn't been great. You go to a Panthers-Cowboys game in Charlotte, you see plenty of passion. You see plenty of passion. And the thought of that passion, the tailgates, the build-up, the hate, the rivalries, all that going away because we're just okay moving games overseas, it makes me sick. It does. It makes me so sick. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. But that's where we are.
It's coming. It's coming, Cole. Hey, a little mini audio blitz here since we're in a couple of minutes, by the way, Tolos. We're going to bring you back to the interview we had earlier with Jed Blackwell, covers high school football. Fantastic interview. If you didn't hear it, it's coming up here for you in a couple of minutes. Wanted to play this full piece of audio for you. We didn't get to play the whole thing earlier. Baker Mayfield on his outlook on the season. He's potentially a little bit angry. He's clearly in great shape. Have you seen the pictures of Baker or the videos of Baker's interview? Like, the dude has gotten like TB12 chiseled. He's got cheekbones that are popping out. He's never been that trim of a guy. It seems like he is locked in. Here's what Baker had to say about shocking people this football season.
I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year, and so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that.
Anything else? You're going to surprise people when you say you're going to shock people?
Yeah, I mean, listen, embellish it. There's no embellishing. I think you can't avoid it. There's the TVs everywhere. I think everybody's. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I am. Everybody's picking us probably to have a losing record, so we'll see.
It's confident. Confident in shocking people this year. Putting maybe the Carolina Panthers on notice. We'll find out.
Well, I like the confidence, I mean, does it happen? We don't know, but I love the confidence there.
One more piece of audio for you here. This one's coming out of Las Vegas. Fernando Mendoza talks about his very first joint NFL practice here.
Be able to go against the Texans defense, which is also a top defense in the league. Go against them, be able to get some reps with the ones against the superstars on their defense. And then obviously their twos are fantastic as well. We got so much work, whether it was move the ball, first down, third down, red zone, 2 minute. There's so many situations. And I believe overall it was a positive day. There were plays that I loved and plays that I wish I had back. But in reality, that's a lie. I wish I didn't have them back because it's a growing experience. And it's practice. It's practice, and this is what I love. And it's just a beautiful day to play football here, and I'm so happy you have so many things to learn from today.
Man, is he not a little kid in a candy store?
Diesel, I have to pause.
It's exhausting, but it's fun.
So here's what I hear when I hear that. You remember like an old, you've owned an old vehicle at some point in your life?
Yeah.
You know how
my current one is old.
Oh, you got some vehicles, and I've got an older vehicle that I drive too. You know how like you'll have certain vehicles or boat motors or whatever it is, any kind of motors. You're older in age, and those motors, you've got a steady, a steady good hum, right? And all of a sudden that motor will rev up and that motor will rev up, and it's like, oh, why is my motor revving up right now? Like, what is going on, right? It happens in an older motor. And then all of a sudden it just comes back down. It comes back down, right? Your car has a mind of its own, and then it just revs up. That's how I feel listening to Fernando Mendoza talk. It's just like he's talking normal. Then he gets really excited about it, and then he comes back down. And it is exhausting. What does he do? Is he on drugs? I mean, it's really. I mean, hey, he's passionate. I get it, he's passionate, and then it comes back down. It is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're right, kid. You can't just so excited. I don't know what to say, and then his voice gets high. It is Fernando. You got to love it because he loves the game. You can hear the love, of the game that he has. But it is the funniest thing ever. He's just hitting all kind of high notes there in a matter of a few minutes.
Remember a couple years ago when everybody was giving Russell Wilson crap for jogging up and down the aisles of the airplane on an international flight to go play in London, speaking of which. And people were like, come on, Russ, just calm down, man. Just calm down, sit in your seat, enjoy the flight, listen to a podcast, do anything, but stop being so Russell Wilson. And I'm curious to know, Cole, and I know he's not the starter here, but everybody knows what's going on. I mean, are the guys in this NFL locker room who I can't imagine, some dudes from Mississippi are going to feel like they have a connection with this nerdy, hyper-energetic, hyper-positive guy. I wonder if that level of energy is going to get old in the locker room.
It's a good question. Like, there are NFL locker room. It's a melting pot. It's a mesh, right? So many different it could have happened, sure. It could happen. I did think that myself. Just in terms of, are people going to just I don't know. To me, it's a little annoying. To me, it's just a little annoying. But maybe that's just me, and I like Fernando Mendoza a lot. But it is. He loves the game, and you can definitely tell.
And you know what overcomes all of that, Cole? Winning throwing
football
touchdown
games.
passes.
If he gets on the field,
yeah, not making mistakes, not putting your team in bad position. You go out there and win, and they'll be like, you know what, this dude is wired, but we love him.
We love it. Texter earlier in the show, let's see, an hour ago from the 696 gets in and says, behind on the app, but love the high school football talk. Keep it coming. Well, Texter, we are going to keep it coming. In case you missed it, in the very next segment, back in the 4 o'clock hour, we spoke with Jed Blackwell, Prep Red Zone, talking high school football week 1. It's here, in case you missed it, with Jed Blackwell next, right here on the Fan Upstate.